Monday, July 15th. And this day will live in infamy probably. I think for everybody, the Monday after what everybody endured this past weekend. I mean, like, Dan, I know you were on vacation in New Jersey.
Yes.
Lummy, we tried to celebrate your birthday on Saturday.
Yes, we did.
But prior to your birthday, just literally, you know what? I think they say now it happened at 6:14. That's the time of the actual first bullet being shot. And, you know, but I think this will go down as to, you know, where were you when the OJ Bronco chase, you know, came down, the OJ verdict? Were you alive during the JFK assassination? Were you, you know, alive during the Reagan attempted, you know, again,
Did you mention 9/11?
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
okay.
no, I was getting there.
Okay, because I don't know where I was during the Bronco chase.
No, but
I don't know where I was.
But you know where you were when the tower the
Yes.
planes hit the tower. You know, it's just you know, I think everybody, this will be one of those days you'll know where you were, what you were doing when there was a very, very, oh my God, like I mean, okay, an assassination on, you know, Donald Trump, former President Donald Trump, and I mean, Dan, you're a doctor more than I am. And had he not kind of changed his head angle with the inflection of him and what he was saying, what do you think is what's like how half inch, 3/4, an inch? Like, you know, the shooter aims to the right, you know, a 1/4 inch, and Donald Trump doesn't, you know, move his head. I think you got a JFK head splattering.
Absolutely.
Don't you?
I mean, he rotated his head and he shifted his weight to the left side because he was looking at the right teleprompter.
Right.
And he even moved a little further at the very last second. And so what that would have done is blown out the back of his head.
Like that's where JFK's head came off, right?
Yeah.
The back.
Well, he got shot from the back. This would have blown the back out. It would have just like been it would have been awful on live TV.
Hold on. And here it is. We're all watching, you know, like no matter what TV you look at today, they're going to be replaying. You know what? I didn't see. Lummy, can you get me Biden's? I went to bed. I didn't see Biden's speech from the Oval Office. I saw his first one yesterday, which I thought was fairly non-committal, like just, you know, down the road. You know, just it was.
He said that he's going to be side by side nursing Donald Trump back to health.
Right, exactly. Said Jill's going to whip out her breasts in case she needs lactation. So, but I mean, like it's like think about how. We know how devastating this is and how shocking this is. And that's just with a Mike Tyson hole in your ear. Can you imagine if it would have splattered us? Like if it would have hit where it was intended, you know, only a half inch. I mean, you know, it's not like it just grazed by nothing. Like it hit him.
We would be on the verge of a civil war right now if that happened.
Oh my God!
There would be such political and civil unrest. It would be catastrophic. We would also be the laughing stock of the world.
Right. And as this was unfolding, the Donald Trump assassination, I was gathering intel from, you know, obviously various other, you know, sources on X, but I also am talking to, and I am in constant communication with a guy that was a 20-plus year veteran of the Secret Service, and who's a very good friend of mine. And he doesn't want me to name his name, but he's given me intel from the Secret Service side, and he just left a few years ago. And one of the reasons why he left was that the new director that came in did exactly what all the old school, Secret Service dudes that came up and had to do it the right way and learn the right way and didn't get a job based on DEI qualifications and, were ass-kicking, well-trained studs willing, that didn't take shortcuts, that could holster their gun. And so he's like, me and a lot of guys quit. we took our early retirement, or we took our, they had 20, 25 plus years in. They were fully vested, for their retirement. And he's like, we're out. And so that's the problem that you have here. And this new, by the way, the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly, is it Cheadle? Kimberly Cheadle. She most recently worked for Pepsi. Joe hired her from Pepsi. Nice. Prior to that, she was an agent, and she was on the Joe Biden detail when she was an agent for 27 years. So she was
like back when he was vice president?
When he was the vice president.
Okay, that's how you knew her.
She was actually his detail. And, he probably said, I'm telling you, Kim, if I ever make president, I'd put you in charge of the whole thing. Okay. Stay in touch. Go work for Pepsi for 4 years, and then I'll beat this guy and I'll give you a big job.
I know everybody's blaming her, but ultimately, do we know about the sniper and what he, if he was given orders to not shoot or to shoot, or if it was up to him?
That's
another deep dive, right?
That's another deep dive that listen. I got to get into. That's almost the premise of everything. The premise of everything is the truth. If the truth is ever told, or the truth is able to come out, and the radio traffic that may have been through that guy's headphones, I don't know if it's accessible to the media or under a Freedom of Information Act.
God, I hope.
So if that guy was given orders to not, the way I have it figured up, and the way a lot of people are figuring it up, and the one thing that we need to find out was, did that sniper that we all saw just above, Trump's, would be his right shoulder, photographic left, on that, tent-like structure, the U.S., Secret Service and/or local police sniper, they had that big long gun, and supposedly is a person that killed the bad guy. There's two things that are circulating right now that we need to know. One is that there was a local police officer that climbed the ladder and met the guy on top of the roof, and the guy pointed his rifle at him, and that local police officer retreated. There's those stories that are going around, and then there's
really,
yeah. I mean, have you guys all heard that?
Yeah.
And then there's another story going around that the actual sniper had him sighted, ready to go for up to 3 minutes, and was told not to engage.
I know. I don't want to get ahead of our skis,
and
but
if that's the case, then this is potentially an inside job.
Well, you also wonder, how high did that go? Like when he says, "Okay, I got a potential target, a bogey, whatever they call it,
whatever."
In my sights, it looks like he's attempting to take a shot at the president, and then they sit on it for 3 minutes. So in 3 minutes, so it goes to his immediate director, then it goes to his supervisor or her supervisor. How high did that go?
All of these people need to be called on the Hill right now. All these questions need to be asked, and under the Freedom of Information Act, that radio traffic, that inter-police, Motorola to Motorola, scrambled up. I'm sure that all their, wouldn't you assume that all of their radio transmissions are scrambled?
But they may be recorded for training purposes.
No, I'm sure they're recorded. But I'm sure that just the average guy can't have a scanner and be listening to Secret Service, stuff.
They're probably encrypted somehow.
They're encrypted, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So
I think Macho Man is taking this harder than Kid Rock is.
Yeah, I think so. I think Macho Man actually is on the bridge driving over to 10-4. They had a lightning strike. He's been on lightning strike duty the entire time.
Oh,
but if that information is available, that needs to be found. We need to hear that radio traffic.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Now, in common law, it is legal to kill somebody and use, lethal force if you're trying to prevent the imminent harm of another person.
Right, and that's just...
So it's a clean shoot. You have someone that has a gun on somebody...
Hold on, that's just in society.
Right.
Multiply that by 1 million when you're dealing with our president,
Right.
So anyway...
Because if someone has a gun held up to someone's head, you can shoot them legally.
So anyway, two things. One, did the cop have contact with him and retreated? And two, did the guy for the Secret Service or whatever have him cited for an extended amount of time, and we could have avoided no gunshots being delivered? And you know what? The 50-year-old firefighter, dad of two, not dead,
right.
and two other in the hospital.
Right.
Let's not just, let's just not forget, yes, Donald Trump, got a hole in his ear and damn near died, but one person, one kick-ass man, one dad, one 50-year-old great father who actually shielded his body over his family, and that's what they're saying. He actually draped himself over his daughter and his wife.
Yep.
And took the bullet in the side. And
his head. And just...
the side of his head. And then, the other two got, one was having liver, it was liver and pancreas surgery.
Shreds him.
Yeah, I mean, I think they've established it was a 2-2-3 round. And so anyway, a lot to unpack.
Well, and you got to think too is the security breach on how they don't protect that building that's 150 yards away.
Yeah.
Well, Bubba, I want to
obvious.
Well, I just I want to know, because the media is saying the Secret Service, they have a bunch of questions to answer, but I mean, do they? I mean, are they allowed to talk publicly about any of this stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I think unless it's a congressional or Senate hearing, they don't have to necessarily meet with the media and give them any answers. But
right.
they do. But they do have to answer questions if they're called up on a committee. Which listen. Every Republican right now, listen. When you go to the Congress or the Senate, and you represent, a particular area, you love these big softballs that come down that you can either get yourself on a committee or be the person that actually draws up the inquiry, a congressional inquiry.
Like when you're trying to shut down the TikTok guy?
Yeah, if you're Ana Luna Polina, you would already have drafted up, articles of,
They did. It looks like Congress already launched it yesterday morning.
So, these are big softballs for these Republicans who want to just absolutely grill and they will grill them.
But they don't have to answer. I mean, they don't have to give us the answers, do they?
Well, the more evasive they look, the worse it looks for them.
No, I get it.
I can't give you that intel. If you were a congressman and you're talking to the director, Kim Cheadle, and you're like, Kim, Miss Director, was there at any time radio transmission from any ranking officer higher than the sniper that told him to not engage after he had already identified and had the person locked in? Was there any type of radio traffic or anything like that happened?
We're not allowed to comment on ongoing investigation.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So
they're going to do that. They're going to play that game the whole way out. There's no way they're going to admit any kind of fault.
Well,
it's going to be disgusting, Bubba. This is going to be the same kind of frustration we had after 9/11. This is going to be the same kind of frustration they had after Kennedy was shot.
No.
Yes.
All right, so listen, I got to go to words. We're way late. So many things to talk about, including the way, Trump right now has the ability. Now, I don't know if he has I don't know if he's wired to be able to do what I'm going to propose next. I don't know if he's wired to be able to do, again, what I'm going to talk about next. But if he was or could pull this off when he speaks at the RNC, I think Wednesday night, isn't it?
He's going to probably speak at the last night or the second to last night.
It's the last night.
So anyway.
Friday?
I think so.
When, he's going to, obviously make the speech accepting the GOP nominee that's what this is. This is the Republican National Convention, and it's where all the delegates. He's already won the primary. He's already won it. This is just where they make it official. This is kind of the party where they make it official.
Right.
It's like to get together and it's just Johnny Republicans, and you'll have a bunch of great people speaking, and and then the president, or in this case the former president, one of the formatic things that the president does is announce their vice president.
Yes,
that's what this convention is a lot for. And then he'll give a big, Johnny Rara. Dana White will introduce Donald Trump. Donald Trump will come out and make a speech. I want to talk about that speech next and how he could go down as like one of the greatest of all time if he would just simply listen to what I think he should listen to. I mean, I fully believe that Donald Trump is at a crossroads in American history right now where he could literally go down as the greatest of all time if he would simply say this at the RNC. And it's going to have to be a lot longer than this, but this would be the
theme.
If the theme would be this.
I have a dream.
No. The theme would be, listen, after I nearly lost my life Dan actually have his doctor measure how many millimeters it was from the hole to the head. Dan
probably knows how far it is from the end of the ear to your brain.
I mean, Dan, how many, and millimeters always sound so small. And I think it is the smallest form of measurement, is it not?
Well, it's not the smallest, but it's a very small form that most people can understand.
All right. So what would you say that number is on an average man?
The average ear, top of the ear is between 7 and 11 millimeters from the head.
Right.
So you're talking if it hit the top of the ear, that thing was less than half an inch from hitting him in the actual head itself.
Half inch sounds real big. You know what you say?
Right.
5 millimeters.
Well, 11 millimeters is 12 millimeters is half an inch.
A half inch sounds big when it comes to getting your cantaloupe blown off.
Anyway.
And the thing was rotation. It wasn't that the guy shot wide left.
So here's what Donald Trump should say. I just want everybody to know I was within a half inch of losing my life. And I've lived life. Yes, I've lived a tremendous life. It's just been a tremendous life, and I'm ready to live a tremendous life. But it could have been gone in just an instant. And all next thing you know, Barron doesn't have a dad, and Melania doesn't have a husband, and I can't be your president.
Was Barron there?
No, he wasn't.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm reading false info.
So he sets it all up, and he goes, and I've lived life, and I've been in politics and been your president and have a certain mindset, and yes, I'm probably guilty of having an aggressive
affair.
An aggressive delivery. I probably have used some words that I probably shouldn't have, as well. This campaign.
Kamala's not a pig.
This campaign has really, really, really turned ugly, and the most ugliest of all is the attempted assassination of my life. So I'm going to use this opportunity. So listen, hold on. He goes, so I'm going to use this opportunity to tell all of my supporters to take the high road with regards to what we think about Joe Biden. Actually be mindful enough and say, President Joe Biden, what you think about him, just maybe let's try to take the personal attacks out.
You think he's dropping Sleepy Joe?
Yes, hold on. Yes, for this particular one.
Okay.
We take the personal attacks out. We make it political. We argue about the facts, and we stop making it. And we don't use trigger words. Trigger words like bullseye, elimination, the words they used on me. That makes people start thinking bad things. And so I'm telling all of America, we need to come together, regardless of who your candidate is. Come together and make this a little more classy. And we need to come together as Americans, regardless if you're on one side or the other, and love each other and realize that the best man will win this November 5th, but it's not going to be through violence. It's not going to be through hurting anybody. It's going to be through the best man's going to win that has the best support of the American people. If he would do something like that.
I think he will.
What are the chances of that?
I think it's pretty high.
Hold on. Even if he has to babyface just a tad and say, even I have said some things I probably shouldn't have said, that really brings it home as to how real he's being.
He may do that part, but I think he's going to have a very calm and tempered speech. When you saw how he handled the debate, and when Biden was, obviously floundering and really struggling, he only alluded to it once or twice during the whole debate. He actually held himself to a higher decorum than he had in previous interactions. So I think he does realize that the powerful position he is now in, because right now, if he doesn't fumble, he's going to keep scoring touchdowns.
Right now, I saw it best by some political pundit said that right now, everybody in the world wants to hear what he has to say.
Oh, yeah.
And nobody cares about what the president has to say.
Although, if you want to be intellectually honest, the Biden's little speech last night, which I watched live.
I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I watched it live.
I sent it to you.
He freaking nailed it. He only got confused once or twice, and it was not that bad, and it seemed sincere. And so, I mean, just to call a spade, he did a very good delivery last night.
I'd love to see it. Because he knows now that every speech he gives about this particular matter is people are really going to analyze how he handles this situation.
Yes.
He's on trial too.
Right. And maybe should be.
They're both at a crossroads where a lot of people are going to make a lot of decisions in the next couple weeks based on how both of these guys handle this.
Yes. And with 3 minutes, if it really was Bubba, 3 minutes, if that guy had him in the scope, and he calls up to his supervisor in 3 minutes, do you think it may have gotten that high to Biden?
No,
I mean,
no.
I
think it stopped at probably Kimberly Cheadle.
You really think?
And well, I don't know.
You really? I mean,
how do you not shoot a guy on a roof with a gun?
I'm just saying.
I don't
Seth.
know. I mean,
that's why the 3 minutes. It just sounds. I don't know.
So listen, hold
outrageous.
on. I've not watched the president's speech yet. You did. I want to watch it, but at any time it's 6:56, 7 minutes. But at any time during the speech, Dan, because you watched it, at any time during the speech, does he say, "We're going to have a thorough investigation into what went wrong, and I'm going to call the director of the Secret Service, we're going to get down to the bottom of this"?
Not really.
Never does he ever say that. That's what the American people want to hear.
I know.
The American people want to hear, this isn't just going to go, this is on my watch. And this isn't just going to go quietly away through some congressional hearings. I'm going to ask some hard questions, and there could be some people that get fired over the derelict of duty on this particular situation. Because you know what? It could have been me at that podium, and it could have been. And so if he takes kind of a pimp ass, that type of approach, he really, really scores well, I think, with people that currently don't like him.
Well, he did not take that approach, and it seems almost like the guy that swings at somebody and then says no punching after he swings a punch, and so it's really rich for him to sit there and say we need to tone down the rhetoric,
which we do.
But for him to say that when he's been talking with the red backgrounds about how Trump is an existential threat to humanity itself.
So hold on now.
Co-workers, citizens. And most importantly, we're fellow Americans. We must stand together. Yesterday's shooting at Donald Trump's rally in Pennsylvania calls on all of us to take a step back. Take stock of where we are, how we go forward from here. Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured.
Former Trump.
But instead of former President Trump. That was one of his mistakes.
I know, but okay.
Thankfully,
former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke to him last.
To me, it sounds like he said lingered.
He did. He again. This is one of the moments where he got a little messed up, and there's another one about 3 or 4 minutes later.
Hold on.
Thankfully, former Trump is not seriously injured. I spoke to him last night. I'm grateful. He's doing well, and Jill and I keep him and his family in our prayers. We also extend our deepest condolences to the family of the victims who was killed. Corey was a husband, a father, a volunteer firefighter, a hero, sheltering his family from those bullets. We should all hold his family and all those injured in our prayers. Earlier today, I spoke about an ongoing investigation. We do not know the motive of the shooter yet.
Listen, the investigation's two-sided. Let's not just stop the investigation at the bad guy who did this,
which is really all he's concerned about in this speech.
Let's not, because this just wasn't, wasn't a Sirhan, somebody sneaked a gun into the back of the bleacher area and got 6 off like this, and that would be obviously a slip up too from the Secret Service that allowed a gun that close to the president, and through all the screening processes and stuff to get to even that close to the president. They virtually run you through like 3 machines, and you're allowed to bring like your wallet and like your ID and your car keys and your phone. Like that's it. Like, you're not even large purses are denied.
Right.
Like to get into that, there's like 3 rings of different security, but to get
it's like a sterile area.
Right. So if you were the 50-year-old firefighter, what's the guy's name? The guy who lost his life. Corey. If you were that close in order to be that, to get killed, he was so thoroughly checked that, I don't think anybody will ever kill the president in a gathering like that up close. I don't think. It's going to have to be a snipe situation. And if it was just as clean, like this is so not clean. If the guy was in the bushes and nobody saw him because he had some ghillie suit on, lummy in the trees, right? Yeah. And nobody saw him.
And he was 700 yards away.
Right, and he was 700 yards away.
Okay, that's tough to defend.
And they're like, and he was some ghillie suit in a live oak tree.
Right.
I think the average person would be like, okay, I get it. I could see where, the Secret Service couldn't see that. But when you got a guy that nearly kills our former president, which would have absolutely, I mean, we might be in a civil war right now if that had happened. It might be, hey, Seth, I know you don't got any guns, but I need to give you a couple to protect your family.
What would the sides be in the Civil War?
I just think it would be more, I think it would just be, I don't know. I don't know what type of uprising and riots, and I don't know. Like, Dan, what do you think happens if Donald Trump loses his life yesterday? What do you think we're doing right now on this particular day? I mean, is the military now having to come in, and because there's these protests, and if you think January 6th was bad, what does MAGA do if that happens?
Well,
I mean, I don't know.
They'd be really upset, especially if there's any hint whatsoever that there was government enabling of this event.
And so
it almost seems that way.
So as we look at the shooter and how crazy he was, and he got bullied, and he slept, and he ate in the cafeteria by himself, and he worked at some old person's community,
giving him pudding,
being a dietitian type deal. The AR-15 or AR type gun that he used was registered in his father's name. His father's a psychiatrist, like in the mental health industry. And this guy is 20-year-old, is a registered Republican, but has most recently donated to some small Democratic fund. So that's what he is. And it's not just clean where this guy shot at Donald Trump and hit his ear, and we got him. No, there's a couple of things that the American people need to find out, because it's not just there's a lot of dirty aspects to this, and there's a lot of reports that are coming out that are saying the following. One, that there was a local police officer from the Butler County Sheriff's Department or wherever, a local guy that had actually walked up onto the roof and fairly close proximity of this Thomas Cook guy. What's his name?
Yeah, I think it was Thomas Cook.
Yeah.
Crook. Like a criminal crook.
That's his name?
Yeah, Crook.
So the bad guy pointed his AR at the cop, and the cop went down the ladder and retreated.
Now supposedly he fell off the ladder.
So we're hearing that.
The guy scared and he fell.
So we're hearing that. And if that's the case, there's some people that are going to go to prison for this. Because as you're making these decisions and you're getting on your police radio, you're asking questions. In today's police work and FBI work and work and Leo work, law enforcement work, where you potentially might be shooting somebody, or even if you're potentially chasing somebody, you have to run it up the line. Like if I'm a state trooper and Seth goes by me at 100, I have to, or I'm Pasco County or something like that. I'm getting on the highway and start getting up to them, I have to go ahead and get a hold of my sergeant and tell them I'm pursuing, a Ford Hemi. That's what Seth calls his car. What is it, a Ford Hemi?
Yeah, no, it's got a Hemi. Yeah,
it's Ford Hemi. Ford Hemi.
Yeah, doing 90.
Doing 90. Do I request to pursue?
You got to call it in,
and they'll tell you, and they'll be like as. Sometimes motorcycles start gaining speed like to 150, 160. The sergeant gets on there and says, listen, call it off. Stop. Turn your lights off. Call it off. We're now putting too many people at jeopardy over just a guy. Now, if the guy killed his entire family and it was a very, but if it's just a speeding violation, some motorcycle whizzed by you at 130 and you're going to catch him for speeding, and that's the only thing he's done wrong, chances are they'll call it off before put, all the people at risk of two people, a motorcycle doing 160 and a cop doing 140 chasing you down 75. A lot of times, Dan, they'll just call that off. So every step of the way, when you're dealing with a sniper or a kill situation, I'm sure that they have to get it cleared. I don't think you should. I think that, if you're on the sniper team and you're there protecting our president, that time is of essence. When you see the guy that's, dialing his scope in that's pointed towards, the target. Well, I don't know how many times you got to ring that up the line in order just to take that shot.
Well, you think there's some specific rules of engagement, and you would think as a Secret Service person that you would have the ability to stop an imminent threat. And when you have a guy on the only other tactically advantageous vantage point in the entire area with a gun pointing it at the stage, I think that's an appropriate time to take a shot. It doesn't make any sense to me, Bubba. If the guy had been in sights for 15 seconds, not even 3 minutes, 15 seconds, you see a guy lining up a rifle at the stage when the ex-president and soon-to-be president.
Now, my inside source is listening to the show. This is a guy who did 15 plus years with the Secret Service, very high up. And left when this woman was the director. He retired out. He's enjoying his retirement. He's a friend of mine.
Thank you for your service.
And he texts, and he's very familiar. He knows. He knows people that were there. He said 2 sniper teams. The one on the video couldn't see the shooter. The second team repositioned and took the shot immediately. So he's saying that the sniper team that we saw behind Trump wasn't the sniper team that killed the guy. See, the media's not reporting that.
No. I wondered whether or not that guy's rifle fired. It looked like he was startled.
It looked like
he's got scared,
startled, and then late, meaning like after he was startled,
came back down on the rifle.
He came back down and he didn't even dial it in or nothing. He just so that makes sense. This and now again, this is really nobody's reporting this, and it's just because I have insight into the Secret Service, but nobody's reporting that.
Right.
2 sniper teams, and the one in the video couldn't see the shooter. The second team repositioned and took the shot immediately. So we have been led to believe by the public
that guy up there, the guy on the left,
that's
at the top.
guy that got him.
Right.
But no, he's not.
Well, I never see any gas come out of his gun.
And so, again, I hope all of this comes out.
But he has a suppressor. It's hard to tell if he shoots because he has a suppressor. You see the gun. The gun itself moves, and he moves as the shots are fired.
But he didn't. I don't think he
fired.
He
was scared.
I don't think he fired one single shot.
I'm not sure.
I don't
he
think
did
the guy on the video fired one single shot.
No, but you see him.
I need my Secret Service insider to tell me. It looked to me that the sniper on the video behind Trump, what would be Trump's right shoulder on that tent-like structure, did he fire a shot? Because to me it looked like he was startled.
Yep.
Then he scoped up the guy. Then he retreated.
Yep.
That's to me. And by the time he scoped up the guy after the 4 shots, the second sniper team already had him.
Yeah.
That's a huge piece of knowledge that we need to know.
Because those 2 guys constitute one team.
Right.
And they keep saying there's 2 teams because I think a lot of people are thinking like 2 teams meaning like there's 2 snipers right there. But no, it was that position plus another position.
Yeah, the position on the position behind Trump would probably be considered one team, and then there was another team of two somewhere else, and that team are the guys who killed the sniper upon repositioning. But it wasn't the person behind. Everybody in America, everybody in the world, nobody has reported what I just reported.
Right, exactly, because there's been absolute, like, almost purposeful ambiguity about all of it. And, Bubba, I've been in two situations where this is relevant. Once when I was at the One Buccaneer place and George Bush visited the Buccaneers after they won the Super Bowl in 2002. It was in 2003. There were at least 3 sniper teams at One Buccaneer place. We're talking about a place where guys are armed with football helmets. And that's it. No, it's a very secure area to begin with. And they still had snipers all over the place. And when I worked at Charity Hospital in New Orleans and Clinton would visit, we were actually interviewed in the ER days before, because like you've mentioned before, they send a team out, a pre-team to surveil the area, evaluate it, decide where to put people, where the escape route is, talk to the hospital, for the trauma center,
and do background checks on the people and on the employees that are going to be at that hospital. Even if the president skips the hospital visit, you've already gone through an extensive background check as to whether you can even still be there or not.
Absolutely. We were all interviewed and all screened. And so for them not to identify that roof as a very valuable tactical position and keep someone there to begin with, they probably should have had a sniper team there, or at least an officer there patrolling with a rifle.
My Secret Service insider's he's not buying it's an inside job, the government did it. He says budgetary cuts and Trump's denial of additional team members and DEI hires are what caused this issue.
So a system failure because of the transition.
And here's the other thing, just because I have a Secret Service insider, he told me to ask this question as well, and that is the denial reports. The Trump Secret Service team, whoever's the head of that, has put in multiple requests to have additional people, and they need to track down all those requests that have been denied and the people that have denied them.
Well, there have been congressmen,
and so because this is the first time that the opponent is an incumbent. So it should get in. There's different levels of Secret Service protection. If you're just a candidate, or if you're the incumbent, the president. You get different levels.
Remember the platinum package.
All right, you get the platinum. So and so my guy was like, listen, they're not giving Trump, they're giving him the scaled down,
second tier.
Yeah. And that's why this happened. And so, but there's paperwork. There'll be paper trails from the Trump team that asking the director for additional services. It'll be interesting to see whose heads are going to roll because of that, right?
Yes.
I mean, because
absolutely.
Biden has got to put this on somebody.
Right.
He just, because at the end of the day, he is the commander in chief. He is in charge of the head of the Secret Service, the FBI, the DEA, the ATF, the
Department of Homeland Security,
ICE, everything. He's in charge of all of that, and parts of his cabinet, if you will. And one of them failed. One of your department heads failed you to the point where this might be one of the largest fails of any director, department head in the history of our country.
Well, so there's been legislators.
Because let's just be honest, the JFK assassination wasn't a failure. That was a planned deal.
Looks like it.
And so what were you going to say?
There's been legislators that have called for the removal of all of his security.
Oh, I posted them on our Twitter. I posted all the legislators that that actually signed a bill to get Donald Trump's Secret Service detailed uphold.
Right. Shameful.
Which they should be like, there's a lot of bad guys in this woodpile. This isn't clean. This isn't clean at all. No. Let me continue Biden's deal.
We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support, or if he communicated.
Again, they're just going to try to rely to make the only bad guy and the only whodunit is this nut job the 20-year-old kid. That's all they're gonna concentrate on. They're not gonna concentrate on the failure of the system.
No, and they're also contradicting themselves because they said, they know for sure it's a lone wolf, but they haven't gotten to his phone, and he's saying they don't know if there was help or support.
Listen,
so
I'm the only one. I'm
I'm
the only person in the world right now that is reporting that the people the sniper team you saw behind Donald Trump wasn't the sniper team that killed him. I mean, I've watched CNN and Fox for 2 straight days.
Ain't nobody said that.
Trying to get every bit of information I can get on this situation. I did a podcast with Seth yesterday where we went through various interviews, a very thorough. I thought yesterday's podcast was very informative about that topic. Talked about things that people don't talk about and things like that. And today we're continuing to break down this attempted assassination of Donald Trump. And as we, unpack this and see various news sources and how they're reporting it, nobody is reporting it where the assigned snipers that were behind Trump were not the guys who killed the bad guy.
How come nobody saw these guys?
I don't know.
Like, we have footage of the kid.
There's so much unknown here.
Right, you have footage of the kid that did it. Then you have footage of the snipers who everybody thinks took them out. But now there's allegedly other snipers, but no one has any footage. And no one was able to say, hey, shots were coming from a different direction.
And I haven't even heard Dan or Seth, any innocent public. They've been interviewing the public a lot, but nobody has said, hey, I just want to let you know that the sniper team that killed this scumbag was not the ones that were behind Trump. They were the ones that were somewhere else.
Aren't you not supposed to be able to see really the snipers sometimes?
Well, I know, but
sometimes they want you to see some, but not all.
Exactly.
They want they want a presence, but not all.
Maybe they don't want to
they may have 3 that you see, but there's 7 in rooftops and that you don't know of.
Except for the right rooftop.
Listen, here with Secret Service, I know. Listen, my friend used to tell me that they would dress up they would like tourists.
Right.
Like the guy would wear a Penn State shirt and a baseball cap on backwards with a pair of sunglasses and flip-flops. And that's a Secret Service guy. They try to embed themselves into, looking, not only do they look like they got, obviously their Secret Service jackets on and, their sunglasses on. And there's a certain amount of those people that you see that are Secret Services, but
the Men in Black.
But they have put, a guy that looks like Seth, a guy that looks like Lummy, a guy that looks like Dan. They've got, a handful of people like that. And a lot of times, Dan, they'll bump into you if it's a large crowd, they'll kind of bump into you and hit your waist,
on purpose.
Yeah,
right. Just gotta scope you out a little bit.
Be like, excuse me, sorry about that. Sorry about that, buddy. Who the hell could be calling me after? Let me.
That's unavailable though. That's why I didn't put it on hold.
Hello. No, good. Is my phone lines working? Oh yeah. I was contemplating on whether leaving to,
let's take some calls. We got to be there for the people today. And they got probably some wild theories, Bubba.
I'm sure it's some interesting.
Yeah, I mean, why do I got to sit here and say that my theory is the only one that really matters?
I mean, we got to hear about the deep state.
Right.
But Bubba, your theory is based on
the Proud Boys are calling in.
But your theories are based on some, real reliable intel. And I mean, objectively, you have to say, what could have we done differently? And how could that rooftop have not been monitored? It still makes no sense to me that there would be a platform 150 yards from the stage.
Well, here's where the effery starts. And that is if indeed there was a local cop that confronted this kid. And
there was. That's reported.
That to me is really, 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 messed up situation. That's the fuel that started this fire. I mean, I guess you could probably unwind it to the fact that, how did the guy get a ladder out there even within, this thing? This was only a football field, was 100 meters away, 323 feet, or something like that.
I thought it was 400 feet from the stage, which is 140 yards.
Yeah, okay. So that's that the official?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was how many yards?
It was 400 feet, which is about 140 yards.
Right, and And like, I don't know if the guy the kid was a sharpshooter or not, but if you know your way around a gun, you fired a gun, and you are proficient with a gun, and you know how to correctly use a scope. 160 yards is kind of
easy.
Kind of a tough shot.
No,
but pretty easy.
If you
got a good enough scope.
If you have a 9 power or higher scope, and even jobbers can get a 3 to 9 scope. If you have a 9 power scope at 150 yards with a bench rested rifle, which is like a rifle like which you're laying down,
right.
It's on like a bag or something like that.
I think he used the ledge of the building.
Right. That's an easy shot, man. That's an easy shot. You should be able to take out like Yankee JB said or Yankee Jib said, a golf ball at 200 yards. If you have any kind of prowess with a rifle, 2.23s tend to be very accurate, and so
they're a very quick round.
And it's a quick round, and so
which
it's
makes
not
it more
affected by
accurate.
wind. It's not affected by wind very much, especially at 150 yards. You're talking about an area that was protected from wind because of the stage, and so it's a super easy shot. I mean, Bubba, I could hit the hole. I could just keep hitting the same hole over and over and over again at 100 yards. So at 150 yards, you expand that by maybe a half an inch. So you take that margin of error, and him not turning his head, it's a head blowed off on live TV shot.
Yeah, I know.
It is God intervened. He just rotated his head that much at the very last second, and had the wherewithal to go down, get low as quickly as possible, and then when he realized that he wasn't mortally injured, to defiantly.
Can you imagine when you're down there on the ground?
Take an inventory.
You're grabbing your head. Maybe you feel that your ear's got a little gouge in it, but you can deal with that.
You can take an inventory,
and then you're like, okay, hold on. I'm thinking. I'm alive. I think I'm okay. Then, because you've done, you're not the average guy. You're not Joe Biden, who's just, absolutely beside himself. Can't, he can barely walk, let alone take a shot to the head. And you're like, I've done The Apprentice and been on WWE, and I know how to work.
Kind of promo.
And so, what am I going to do? I'm going to have an iconic blood on my face, hole in my ear, fist with the American flag behind me, and 3 Secret Service agents tackling me to the truck with saying, "Fight, fight, fight." Like, I mean,
it was one of the most dramatic moments of our lifetime. This will go down in history as one of the strongest, toughest, most defiant people on earth.
Oh.
If it, I don't think he can beat up Conor McGregor. But when it comes to everything else that he has done and what he's endured and his family's endured for the last 8 years, he is the toughest mofo I have ever seen. Anyone else would have caved in by now.
You're right. Everybody would have given up by now, saying, "Oh my God,
too much." He's a billionaire.
No.
He should be sipping margaritas on the Mediterranean, watching the Monaco Grand Prix. I mean, why he would put his neck out for everyone is beyond reproach.
He's a little bit narcissistic. He wants to be the president. I mean, I would too. I got to kind of be like, I don't want to say you could be sipping margaritas, watching the. I mean, I want to. If I can be prez, I'd want to be prez. That's the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, it's
being
cool.
president,
But
right? Let me get on the big ass plane.
That's right.
Being
Flying
the
around, have the most power.
most powerful man in the entire world.
But he had the big ass plane.
I'm just saying. Anyway, I have to go to words. We're way late.
Yes, sir.
I got phone lines that are ringing. I got a lot of this information, but let's go on. Listen, I want to go on record. I don't know when I said it or not, about what time I said it, but, I think I'm the only person reporting that the sniper team that killed the bad guy was not the sniper team behind Trump.
First I've heard it.
That's what everybody's been led to believe. I've not heard anything other than that up until I just reported it, and I reported it from a guy that, former Secret Service of 20 plus years, and he's talking to people that were there, and I'm getting intel. You know what, Dan? I better shut my mouth. The FBI is going to be down here.
No.
For real.
I know.
They're like,
They're
listen,
just up the street.
They're like, listen,
it's a 2-minute drive.
I know how to take care of the FBI nowadays.
Okay.
But listen, you know what, sir?
Let's record it.
I'll ask you. I'll answer any question you want. But I'm going to have my lawyer down here.
And a recorder.
And I need you to bring a stenographer and a recording.
Yep.
And I'm gonna tape it.
I'm going to cooperate on record.
And I'll tell you, you know what? I'll hand my phone over with my correspondence to the Secret Service agent that I have. You can have my phone, sir. Don't remind some of the depiction there, but just with regards to communications with this individual here, you can have it right here. Here, he just said, look at my guy just said 2 sniper teams. The one on the video couldn't see the shooter. Second team repositioned and took out the shot immediately. Here, he said it right here. He says, no. Oh, you want his phone number? No big deal. But we have to record and all of this.
Yeah.
And I'm having my lawyer and a stenographer there, too. And we're taping it. We're videotaping it.
Wow, we're right in the middle of this, aren't we?
Well, I mean, if the FBI is going to come out here asking me questions, I'll cooperate, buddy. I'll hand you my phone over. Ask me any questions. But we're videotaping it, and I'm going to have no less than 3 or 4 of my lawyers down
we'll
here.
be here. I'm here right now. I'm not going to leave your
Kevin,
side.
I'm going to have Jay. I'm going to have Brian. And I'm going to have Todd Foster. I mean, tell me that, Dan. Like, and you know what? Norman Jr.
Right.
I'm having all of them. Can you imagine, Dan, think about all the studliness just in those names? Kevin, Brian, the Canellas, the Diacos, Foster. I mean, please.
Oh, by the way, your podcast from yesterday was very comprehensive and was informative.
Thank
you.
You
guys did a good job.
Thank you to Seth for being kind of like my little motivator coach.
It was appropriate.
Because when he first got a hold of me and said, hey, do you want to get together and do some live? I'm like, no, it's Sunday. And then he fires back. Listen, I think it would be really good. I think it would be big.
He was right.
And would you reconsider? I'm like, okay, I'll meet you in the studio at, I think what we met, 1 o'clock, noon?
11:30, but we went until I think 1.
Yeah, it was over an hour.
So Seth and I did a podcast yesterday, and I used a lot of my Secret Service influence and source, and played a lot of video, and kind of waded through the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. Kind of waded through it in a newsy type, opinionated type way, and it's my opinion, and I still somewhat stick to it, that it's an inside job.
Yeah, I believe that too, Bubba. There's a lot of evidence for that.
And here's the deal. I mean, it's just like Joe Biden or the big time movers and shakers get a hold of the head of the Secret Service, and they listen, moving forward, we're gonna give Trump the B team,
or the D team,
and not give him the real ass kicking guys that pretty much have all retired out now because they hate the new director.
Right.
The new director actually I got videotape of her saying by 2030 I want to have 30% woman workforce, and I want to hire the most diverse possible candidates to give everybody a chance. Listen, being a Secret Service person shouldn't be somebody getting a chance.
No, but if you're a girl to be a Secret Service and you're protecting the president, I'm all for it. I don't care if you have a vagina or a penis, but be full size. Don't have a 5'2" fat chick trying to protect the president.
Who, by the way,
who
can't holster, and holding her weapon in the readied position would have blown off her right hand had she had to shoot somebody with
moronic. You should have like volleyball players and basketball players that are the Trump size. You can't protect a 6'4" guy with a 5'4" girl.
It could be as simple as the director has sent down to the teams all shot, any shots fired from us onto a potential bad guy has to go up the chain.
Yep.
And that causes
delay.
Potentially a 3-minute delay. 813-902-8222. I cannot believe I'm going to the phone line. So let's go to him now. Woo-hoo! Hello.
Hey, Bub, I just want to lighten the mood. We know you like brunettes, but what do you think of Irish mayor of Kingstown?
Oh, I think she's a little dirty
girl.
Like a little white trash, like trailer trash, a little white, hot trailer trash is what I call her.
Dirty.
Yeah. And she's really, 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 she's killed people before. So, I mean, that adds another level of kinkiness when you're, blasting a bitch that's killed somebody before, right? That makes her kind of a wild
Dangerous.
tiger. Yeah.
All right, guys, there's also man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
It's Longwood.
No check-ins, guys. No check-ins. Just,
Wait, was
topical?
That wasn't a check-in, was it?
No, I mean, kind of.
I mean, it was a question.
Okay.
Who did he ask about? It was breaking up.
Irish on
From
Mayor of
Kingstown.
Kingstown.
Oh, Ashoka. Okay.
Yeah, not a very pop culturally popular. Ask me things about Yellowstone, please. Hello, or Sopranos, or other
Suits, we know.
other shows that people might
It's
have
Meghan Markle or bust.
iconically watched. I don't know, Seinfeld, Curb, something a little more mass appeal than
90210.
hello, who's this?
Hey, Bob, it's FD Mike up here in Northeast. How you doing?
What's up, Mike? What's your spin on this stuff?
Yeah, yesterday I watched the whole thing on Newsmax, and so I watched the continued coverage. And there's a guy that was not in venue, but he was outside, couldn't see Trump, but he was near that building, standing in the shade. He saw the guy scale the building, and he said he tried to tell the police and Secret Service, and he said it was like Keystone Cops.
Yeah,
and they interviewed him.
I'd seen that too. I think he had like red hair or something like that, kind of bigger, like a bigger dude. Yeah, and he was like, I was trying to get their attention, and they just weren't taking me seriously. And I saw the guy, and he was actually scaling it, like the guy's like. There's a lot of those people that are speaking out, and this isn't made up stuff. This is truthful stuff. These are citizens who have nothing to gain by by making some stuff up. And I look forward to them peeling this back. I don't know that we'll ever know the truth, but I hope we can find. To me, it seems like there's a bad guy in the woodpile. This isn't as clean as just an assassination attempt.
Right.
There was. I think this was an insider job.
And Bubba, you know how the gas station has the red button? You can push the red button. It's like the emergency off valve for something like that.
Yes.
There's always a red button to shut things down. You would think that even if they decided whether or not to shoot that the potential shooter, as soon as there's something that suspicious, clear the stage.
Yeah, get Trump
Why
off.
not hit that button to clear the stage? As soon as there was any kind of yellow flag, clear the stage. It is for 1 minute.
All right. If you got a guy sided up for 3, during those 3 minutes, as to whether you take the guy out or not, you can have Trump removed from the stage.
Right.
Well, it's been reported that's not true.
Wait, what's not true?
That sided up for 3 minutes and that they didn't need approval for the fire. That's what NBC News.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. What else you got?
Hey, just quick question for Dr. Dan. Now, if this is true, do you think that guy could get pulled up to Washington for hearings?
They all may. They'll all be interviewed.
I think everybody from the head of the Secret Service down to the dog catcher of Butler is going to be hauled in front of Congress.
Including the guy with the beard, maybe. There could be some civilians called up to Congress to testify because they're all witnesses. It's all facts that need to be sorted out.
Oh, there's going to be some good people called up.
Oh yeah,
on these hearings. There's going to be some of these eyewitness accounts. They're going to they're going to be called up on a bad. They're going to be called up on a hey, we need your testimony.
And Bubba, don't you think it's really weird that the
anyway,
media,
buddy, thank you, love you, buddy.
Warren Puckett, 25.
That the media, who was there, right there, and for like minutes afterwards, were reporting, well, we're not really sure if there was a gunshot fired or if he just fell. I mean, why would they give such disingenuous descriptions of what happened in the first 15, 20 minutes? Did you notice that, Bubba?
Seth and I talked about that yesterday, and that's how we kicked off the podcast yesterday, and the fact that this fundamentally started with a couple news sources reporting this and kind of not a big deal.
Minimizing it.
Yeah, there was popping noises and they had to rush him off stage. The other one was that he fell. That was the stuff right away.
Yeah, and we're like, why in the hell, would you do that? I mean, God, this whole thing starts disingenuous,
and also
not that you can have a non-disingenuous assassination attempt. The whole thing's bad, but there's just so many layers of effery. Hi, who's this?
Bubba.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Pro Wrestler 91 from up here in Cincinnati. So CNN yesterday did a diagram of the thing and what they were saying happened. So there was an eyewitness that said They saw him going around the outside perimeters, like he was scoping it out where the metal detectors were. And then he went to the building. And then, like you said, like that one guy said, there was a guy that saw him jumping from building to building. But what you got wrong is the police officer, the deputy that was face to face with him. The reason why he didn't shoot him or anything is he did not have a ladder. He climbed up, and both of his hands were on the thing. When he pulled himself up, the guy, the assassination guy, pointed at him, so he dropped to the ground from the building and stuff.
I know, but like, why didn't he
fire the alarm?
You know, I mean, like, man, I don't
because
know.
If you're holding on to a ledge of a building,
no, I know, I understand that, but like, listen, I understand why he could not take the shot at the bad guy, but why could he not have radioed immediately?
Clear the stage.
I mean, we don't know that. What we need to know is upon the guy dropping, not because he can't make it up on top because he's going to get shot. Upon him dropping, how long did it take? How long of time was it before the guy got shot? The bad guy actually got shot. What's the time period of from the time that guy's feet hit the ground, and who did he radio? Who did he tell? And how fast did the guy get killed from the point of his radio transmission?
Yep.
Fox and CNN both said it was within a minute. And
it was like 38 seconds. 38 seconds is what they're saying.
38 seconds of them finding out he was on the
situation was a minute and 30-something seconds, yeah.
It takes 8 seconds to clear a stage.
And then also, I think that, I don't think it's an inside job. I think it's a deep state job.
That makes it an inside job.
Yeah, I mean,
deep state's inside.
Well, I just think it's a deep state thing. And but hey, I love the fact that Trump kept trying to raise his hand, and the Secret Service kept trying to pull his hand down. But he was basically saying, "Kiss my ass. It's going to take more than this to take me out."
I appreciate your call. All right, man. Thank you.
My very liberal cousin tried to blame it on the gun. I'm like, what I'm thinking? It's a good thing he had an AR-15 because if he had like a Remington 700 with like a 30 or with a 30-06, that's a much more devastating round.
Oh yeah,
it would have been much more destructive.
I sent you a video too.
Even going through the ear, it would have been more destructive.
Bigger. You're talking about a 50-grain bullet versus a 180-grain bullet. You're talking about a bullet that's 3 times bigger and goes the same exact speed, and may have been a more steady shot. You're more accurate with a single shot or a bolt action rifle than you are with a semi-automatic rifle.
Hi,
Thank God he had a semi-automatic rifle.
Hello.
Charter Panda 3,000 bits.
What's up, King Fun Joe? How you doing, buddy? It's formerly Fat Ass Bobby, man.
You got a horrible, I'm not trying to be a dick, but you got a horrible connection, my friend.
Okay, well, I can fix that.
You wonder why I don't take phone calls? Yeah.
Hey, Bubba, while he fixes it, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we know if this hurt? Do we know if this hurt or not?
It hurts.
I'm sure it hurts.
Okay,
flicking ear, it hurts.
Okay.
I mean, Dan, what they probably have to do as far as he's got a hole in his ear, you're a plastic surgeon. This is exactly down your alley.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure they probably, they didn't let the resident guy at the hospital work on him. I'm sure they brought in a guy from Pittsburgh, a plastic, one of the highest rated, plastic surgeons of Pittsburgh, probably ended up doing the surgery.
I would hope so because Pittsburgh's got good plastic surgeons and good medicine.
So what do you think? How do you think? What procedure happened? How did they close that hole up?
Well, you probably wanted to clean it, debride it, which means trim the edges because it was an explosion. It wasn't like a nice even knife cut. You trim the edges and then you repair it in layers. You repair the cartilage and then you repair the skin. Fortunately, again, it didn't hit his skull. We'd be having a much different conversation
but
today.
Just ear-wise.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stitches.
When we see him on the stage of the RNC here for the first time, will he have a bandage? Will he have, will he be, is he going to be?
He was out golfing yesterday. I didn't see
I didn't see a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah.
when he was
They could
golfing.
probably just leave it with stitches and just put like small stitches in there. You wouldn't see them very
Man,
clearly.
if I was down, if I have a big bandage for when I go out on stage, wouldn't you, Seth?
He's gonna have half a head cast. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I like to have a head cast.
some red dye on the kind of trickulation out.
Yeah. Oh my God, it's bleeding again out of nowhere.
You know what, ladies and gentlemen, my speech, I may have to stop from time to time because I got some bleeding that's happening here.
Tucker comes out, wipes him down.
Right, exactly. Hello.
It's like when the pitcher was bleeding with his ankle. Remember that?
Kurt Schilling.
Kurt
Yeah.
Schilling. Yeah.
Who's this?
This formerly fat ass Bobby. What's up? How you doing, Bubba?
Yeah, we wonder why we go to the phone calls.
Yeah.
Yes,
Fix his phone.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on, buddy?
Well, I have to give my shout out to and Dr. Daniels, number one. I'm always in the chat, Kicks for Guns, putting out my stuff for Dr. Daniels because I love my lums, but Dr. Daniels just has a special place in my heart, because he just gives me so much information.
Chief Charlie
help me
215-20 on the super chat.
Right. So, Charlie, what else, buddy? Quickly.
Yeah. So this whole thing with the deep, I think Donald Trump is he needs to announce his VP immediately. If he doesn't announce his VP, we won't know. We need to know his successor. He should announce the VP last month. We were telling Roger Stone and Alex Jones were saying, announce your VP last month.
Listen,
in case they try to off him.
Listen, Soma Tongue Randy. This is not an opportunity for you to come in and just start ranting. If you got a question or an opinion, that's great. All right, maybe half as much Soma's next time you call in, my friend.
I think he's wrong, Bubba. I think he's wrong.
Hello. I could care less what
We're talking about the vice president timing pick and the timing of that pick.
Doesn't matter it doesn't. Nothing matters at this point.
Well, but he should pick someone that scares the hell out of the other side.
So that if he's gone, he can pick Barbie for all I matter.
I thought we're supposed to be coming together.
Hello,
Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Look, this was not an inside job. Don't we think we're overthinking all this a little bit? Think about it. 20-year-old kid on top of here. I think
no. Hold on. You think about it. A 20-year-old kid that was able to scale a building that was within a football field and a half at a higher elevation than the president, and able to be seen by law enforcement. And be able to scope in the president and get four shots off, and we are thanking I don't think we as a society could. I mean, you couldn't have been any more lucky than to win Powerball with the regards to that bullet missing his skull, taking out his complete back half of his head. And at this point, I don't know what type of country we live in if that happened. I don't know what's going.
Video you shared of the people looking.
There's so many failures. There's so many failures on so many different parts that I find it that I don't think you could have that many coincidences of failure.
Yeah, because in other words, you would.
How does a guy get a ladder into Dan? How do you get a ladder even into that space?
There's a lot of questions. How did he get such easy access?
How do you get a long gun into that area? How do you get explosive in your car in that area?
Yeah, I mean, you can't take explosives into the parking lot by the Tampa Stadium. They check your cars.
So I mean, there's so many marching orders that if somebody is seen, that they are not to take him out, that they were supposed to just look at him like an idiot.
Maybe.
They're the marching orders that would be out, man.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I mean, listen.
It's a horrible situation. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, I just think it's. I'm Bubba Army, by the way, but I just think it's more. I'm just looking at it.
Listen, okay. So let's look at it. Let's look at it like this. Then, the president of the United States is the person who puts in charge whoever's the director of the Secret Service, correct? And when you go and put in an unqualified woman to run the agency, and you got a 48% dropout rate amongst people that have been there 10 years or longer because they cannot stand this woman, and she has gone on national television and said that she'd like the Secret Service staff to be up to 30% female by 2030, and that she wants to hire the most diversified people in America so that everybody has a chance to work there. When that's your policy as the director, then maybe your people that are protecting the former president aren't as qualified as they need to be, and catastrophic slip-throughs like what happened. But the root of the problem is who's in charge and who put them in charge. Period.
Well, you're probably onto something with the issues coming from the top. But, I mean, aren't these the same people protecting Biden?
No, Biden has a whole different set. There's been numerous requests from the Trump administration to get more qualified agents, and it keeps getting denied. They won't even give Robert Kennedy Secret Service protection. Now, that may change after this event, but prior to this event, Robert Kennedy has asked who's going to be on the ballot in more than half the states, who's a legitimate presidential candidate. They're not giving him Secret Service protection. Now, one, he should get it. But two, let's not forget that his uncle and his dad have both been shot and killed. So maybe maybe just to purely cover my ass as the director, Dan, I'm giving him protection.
Well, I would think so. I mean, we've given billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. We can't protect our prominent 3 candidates. It's disgusting.
I mean, Mike Pence lives in Columbus, Indiana, and he still has full-time detail. Did you know that?
Of course he does. He's an ex-vice president.
So why
he
not?
deserves it.
I mean, it's just, listen, there's maybe it's not an inside job, but you know what? It's an inside failure of the system and the leaders we've put in place to run this very sacred agency. This is one of the most important agencies we have as a government to protect our dignitaries.
And past presidents are national treasures. Even though I was not a big fan of Clinton or Obama, they should be protected until they die. They are national treasures. They are important. We need to protect our ex-presidents. We need to protect our current president, and we need to protect our potential future presidents.
Now, did you see where I forget how many senators, there's a list of senators that were calling for Trump's Secret Service detail to be canceled. And I think you should bring those people up on the Hill, too, and say, really, as a responsible senator or congressperson, you really are voting for pulling, Secret Service from the sky? No, and by the way,
the Secret Service sniper that was on top of that building, was he just staring at the guy and not taking action? Is that what we're saying?
Again,
like when he was looking above his sights?
No, see, here's where you're missing the boat, and I'm the only media. I'm the only person anywhere that's reporting this. This is where you're missing the boat, and most of Americans are. The sniper team that killed the bad guy was not the sniper team that we saw behind Trump. There was another sniper team that killed Trump. I mean, that killed the bad guy. I was always under the assumption, and every piece of media I've seen, and you can agree or disagree with me, sir, but I was always under the assumption that the sniper team that killed the bad guy were the guy that we could see behind Trump.
That's what they keep showing in the diagrams.
So, all right, buddy, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you. Thank you for listening. Let me opening up the phone lines really brings the show to a screeching halt.
Bubba, what if Crooks was just a putz pansy like Harvey Oswald may have been, and there was another shooter far behind him that actually did the shots?
I mean, I don't.
Do we know? We don't know. We don't know.
I mean,
Do we know?
Macho said that I guess he failed his shooting class in high school.
And it's always the same kind of guy, this this loser that doesn't have a lot of friends, that doesn't have a real extensive social media background that could be manipulated.
Instead of like a hulked-up guy with machismo,
No,
unfortunately, too, this guy was wearing a Demolition Ranch shirt. It was a really popular gun YouTuber as well. So now there's a content creator brought into the fold, and I'm sure that's a name you're going to hear tossed around for a little while from all the anti-gun people.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so the shirt that he was wearing was from a major content guy?
Yeah,
Yes.
Demolition Ranch, and he calls his fans the Demolitia. So the front of his shirt said Demolitia on it.
So now that would be like if almost. Oh, listen,
Bubba Army
that
shirt?
would be like if the bad guy was wearing a Bubba Army shirt, right?
Right.
Oh my God, I would be in so much. I mean,
You'd be in trouble.
You got to get canceled at that point.
Yes.
They got to cancel you.
No, they don't.
They don't have to, but you're going to get pressured.
Yeah, not if you go on air the next day and condemn the guy.
Do you think he was prepared to die?
Oh yeah, I mean,
The kid? The shooter?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how can you?
I don't know if you think you're going to get away or not. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't.
I wanted to get to this, Lummy, that you sent this to me when we were talking about the time frame of when the people first started spotting out the bad guy
Yeah.
and the bad guy eating lead.
He was doing the job. I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be at some beautiful places, the gorgeous ocean, the
Look, they're all pointing.
Now,
the Atlantic.
so at 8 seconds, Lummy, this guy says they're all pointing. So I'm assuming that is there's a bunch of people pointing to the bad guy. And that's at 8 seconds.
The Pacific.
Yeah, someone's on top of the roof. Look. There he is right there. Right there, see him? He's laying down. See him?
So now, so that's at 17 seconds. Where this guy
on a camera,
who's parallel, pretty much in the general area where the bad guy on top of the roof is. He's pretty much in that area, less being on the ground compared to being on the roof. And this guy, to me, Dan, looks to be set up, kind of ready to go.
Yep, he's just hiding behind
sorry.
to the roof. The peak. He's just hiding behind the peak of the roof.
Yeah. And so that's let me just, because this is all timed here.
He's laying down. See him?
So I think you could probably say 17 seconds.
He's laying down. See him?
Yeah,
Boom. Now let's see how long it takes.
laying down.
And still I'm here with you fighting cartel to get us set.
What's happening?
Now, Dan, if you're a cop, do you even? I can start firing from back here. You may not be accurate, but I'm putting lead around the guy.
Well, I think if you hear gunshots, the Secret Service is obviously going to take Trump off.
No, but
that's the whole point.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're this guy, and you're telling a cop that there's a guy up there,
I'd draw down almonds, start screaming at him.
So I'm at 25 seconds right now. I'm on my radio saying, "Clear Trump off the stage right now."
Exactly.
And now I'm from the ground. I at least have a 40. Most agency carries 40s
or 9s.
But let's say I got a 40 or a 9. Doesn't matter. I may not be accurate at 50 or 60 yards shooting upwards.
Hard to do with the 9.
But I'm going to be putting lead around you, and you're going to know you're being shot at.
Yes, it's going to disrupt what you're doing. I'm going to disrupt what you're doing.
You're not going to be able just to sit there and continue to scope in
calmly
your target because I'm laying lead around you. And
I may hit you in the ass, in the foot, in the hand, something. But I'm going to disrupt what you're doing.
Most cops have at least 2 additional, sometimes 3 additional. They got a magazine they got a magazine in
15 to 18,
and they have high capacity. So
15 to 18 rounds.
15 to 18, and then Lummy no less than 2, and sometimes 4 additional magazines.
So they may have between 50 and 65 rounds, 70 rounds.
And so if this guy, if Johnny Butler, PA, PD Willie, starts just laying lead at the guy for what he's got. And he's obviously, as he's laying lead, calling for his boys to lay lead. We don't have what we had on Saturday at 6:14 in the afternoon.
Because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it.
Yeah, look. There he is.
Because we have millions and millions of people in our country that should.
So listen, this guy. There's
dangerous people, criminals.
I'm telling you right now, Dan, I could at least
He climbed up during the speech.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. I could at least, if I got to this, I could at least hit his feet.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Or hit the gutter and start ricocheting them off. You're like, pew,
Right. And again, it clears the stage. As soon as they hear a gunshot, the stage gets cleared.
Right.
And you save the president and the other guy that got murdered.
And this cop is a hero.
Right. I confronted the threat.
Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here.
Right on the roof.
It's much tougher than
now.
it happens.
You went right on the roof, big guy.
He was doing his job.
So, I mean, like, that was 52 seconds of people telling the police, he's right here. He's right here. I'm videotaping him now. He's right there.
Right.
That was 52 seconds long, Lummy.
It's ridiculous.
How does that not? I mean, like, how is somebody not going to be in major trouble for this? I mean, like, I mean, what if you're a police officer and you're assigned to now at that point they put local guys out there that far out, they put local guys out there, but nonetheless, but hold on, but local guys should know. Like, I mean, you being keeping in mind the situation we're at, meaning we're at a presidential, outdoor event, and I got a guy that's creeping up on the roof. I've been in my briefing. There was no mention of us having any law enforcement on that particular roof because, Danny, they debrief. They get
everybody
they
should know where all the positions are. Absolutely,
they are. They know. I mean, from the guy that's literally parking your car to the person that's running all the metal detectors to the persons that are creating these barriers. These 50 and 60 feet at a time, different. You could have, you could have a cooler and probably, whatever, and a lawn chair back when you're back where those guys are. But as you get closer to Trump, you can carry less and less. It gets down to like a cell phone, your car keys, and your wallet. That's it. Like, you're not bringing any drinks in. You're not bringing any makeup in. You're not bringing any brushes or you're not bringing in nothing. Nothing. You're bringing your wallet, your keys, and your cell phone.
Yep.
When you're going to get that close. And so it just absolutely befuddles me of the derelict of duty here. Maybe it's not an inside job, but it's truly a derelict of duty.
Well,
hello, who's this?
Hey, Bubba, it's Dave, West Palm.
Hi, Dave.
Two questions. One, what does Seth's mom say about the whole thing?
I don't know. I've not speak to her. And two, I don't think we probably should.
Oh, I didn't know Seth knew, or Seth talked to her. Anyway, the other the one positive thing is, let's face it, Trump's going to win in a landslide.
All right. Thank you, Dave from West Palm. I think Trump can win in a landslide, and it's all contingent upon his speech at the Republican at the RNC. If he comes across as a more gentler, compassionate, we need to slow this thing down and stop using some trigger words and keywords and comparing me to Hitler and saying there's a bullseye on my back. And I, in turn, need to stop saying some of the things that I've probably said. I mean, because, you got to take a little onus. And I think from this point forward, Joe and I need to engage over policy issues only.
BVA, $100 super chat.
If he says that and takes the high road on this, that is awesome. Super chat. 100, Lummy. Thank you.
Thank you.
Slow day on PayPal. But Dan, if he takes the high road like that, and says, listen, Americans, this tragedy can be turned into something good. It's where we finally unite and we realize that there's two people running for this office, but we need to stop this type of nonsense. We need to come together, vote for your favorite candidate and who you think will lead this country better. But this sort of stuff has to stop.
He should take the high road. He's in a position of power. He doesn't need to punch down now. And so he has a great opportunity here. But Again, I'm sure he'll do 90-10, and he'll say 10% of
So
stuff
to let you
he
know,
shouldn't
that was
say.
a dirty thing that Joe did. They had me into sights for about 2 or 3 minutes, I've been told. And, they could have taken a guy out. But, no, they wanted to see if they could blow my head off. But they didn't. I'm very much excellent. I have an excellent head. And then I knew that I should probably come up with my fist and make a photographic type deal. And I'm going to fight. It's exactly. Now, let me just, I hope he doesn't come across like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think he's going to have such a positive reception when he gets in front of that mic next time that
have you guys
he's
seen
going
what his
to be
wife?
tempered.
His wife wrote a beautiful. She probably didn't write it. She can't write anything English.
She's a lot smarter than you think.
No poppy.
She's a lot smarter than you think.
No, I know. She speaks 5 languages. She's very smart. In fact, her beauty has distracted the media by how smart she truly is.
And yet wasn't on the cover of a single magazine during his presidency.
And and she came out with a very compassionate statement. So hopefully Donald.
Her statement was very. I don't even know if she mentioned Trump. Did she?
She mentioned, I think, that her son Barron and her could have been without
the father,
without their father.
Yeah,
so
it was just
pronouns.
It was just kind of for It seemed like it was for everybody.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. She did say my husband, Donald.
Okay.
Yeah. Hello. Maybe this brings her back. Maybe this brings her on the trail.
Well, now she's gonna have to nibble on that messed up ear.
when he's going down on her, she's got that hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, she got something to grab a hold on.
Don't touch my ear.
Melania, please don't grab my ear. I got a hole in it. Please be nice.
She put her finger in there like a ring.
When I'm going down on you, just please watch the ear.
Is he gonna get one of those ear gauges now?
Still a little tender. Gonna get a big elephant ear gauge in there. Yes, I am. Hello.
Hello, deep state or independent?
What do you?
Hello?
Is that your?
Deep state or independent operated?
Oh, you mean this was orchestrated by the deep state or an independent deal?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think everybody would agree to that. Yes. Appreciate you. Yes, it was either a deep state or it was just an independent mess up on behalf of.
I think he was asking what you thought.
Oh, I
He's got to do a better job of framing a question.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to understand.
Again, Seth, you wonder why I don't go to phone calls.
I don't know, Bubba. I'm loving it though, man.
Hello.
I love how much.
Hello.
Hey, can the family of the firefighter start suing people to get information?
Dan?
The family of the firefighter can certainly, do FOIA requests, and I'm sure there'll be a lawsuit because if there was gross negligence on the part of the Secret Service
or any agency.
Or any agency, exactly. They have some, standing and some way to go after them. Obviously there's some statutory protection to these people, but there are also some caps for it. But
there has been instances where various families have been able to pierce that municipality immunity and get into, sometimes they do. That's case by case, but usually working for an agency or a municipality gives you a certain amount of a lot of insulation, especially in law enforcement. But there has been incidents of gross. The George Floyd family were able to go after the city of Minneapolis for gross negligence.
And they settled. Even though there was probably some statutory protection, they settled to just make it go away.
Well,
so
maybe
sometimes
that
they'll
probably
settle.
happens here, right?
Yeah, and then, also arguably
Man, I wish I would have called the Diacos.
Arguably, the victim or victims could sue the people that said it was a fake or set up shooting. Because ask Alex Jones.
Or how about sue the person that denied Trump additional Secret Service,
as negligent,
right?
And you wonder.
There's a lot of people that you could listen. The more people you sue, the better chance you got for something to stick, right?
Right.
If you sue one municipality, Dan, you got it. But if you sue 7,
you should go after everyone at first, and then see what happens.
It's going to be interesting, sir. I think that the firefighters' family will be possibly, available to get some information that the average, person may not be able to get under the fact that they got a major lawsuit going on. They should.
Now, my second question, and I'll go, or should Trump bring in private security after this?
Yeah.
I would, if I were Donald Trump, I would absolutely insist on the full security, and I would have
not the bronze package, but you want the platinum package.
I want the platinum package, and I would have my own security. I would absolutely augment it with my own security.
Just want to let you know, I called up Joe. We didn't speak very long, but he did tell me that he's going to start giving me the platinum package.
I've got Kimbo Slice's brother, who's leading my team now.
and I would insist.
And Mark Henry.
And I would insist on large people physically surrounding me. Again, why they have a 5'2" girl trying to protect a 6'4" man doesn't make any sense.
Because of their
physical shield.
Of the current commander-in-chief's appointment of a woman that most recently worked for Pepsi and was on his detail when he was a vice president. Her name's Kimberly Cheadle. She has no business being the head of the Secret Service. This was like a nepotism slash job in itself. She was working for Pepsi after she left the agency because she wasn't working for Joe anymore. And then he brought her back to be the head of the agency. They got a 48% veteran dropout. There was 48% of people that I think worked over 15 years quit when she came in.
What was that number before she came in? It wasn't 48%, right?
No,
that's a new number.
And then she wants to have a total, a complete all-female. She wants the Secret Service to be 30% by 2030. And there's all these type of articles. She even did an article with 60 Minutes, Lummy, where she was talking about the diversification, the DEI programs of the Secret Service, and how she wants everybody, especially women, to be able to have an opportunity to work for. Listen, working for the Secret Service, it should be like a very prestigious, badass former Rangers, former cops, former Navy SEALs. Those are the people that need to be our Secret Service agents, not some frumpy bitch that can't holster her gun that got hired under, oh, you know what? Her sister got hired because her sister was one of the 86,000 IRS agents that Biden hired. Let's not forget that. He hired 86,000 IRS agents, and now he's turning his Secret Service into a girl squad. I mean, there was 3 women that were in the protective zone. And they all looked like they didn't know what they were doing, and one of them had to make sure she put her sunglasses on so she looked cool.
Right. At least she was tall.
Yeah. Phone lines let me blowed up. I mean, my God, that's why I can't take them. It just, we're so popular and so many people want to talk to us that it almost railroads the show into a caller deal.
Yeah, but all the true answers to what happened to Donald Trump are on the phone lines, Bubba.
Okay, good. We'll continue that. I appreciate it, Sethy.
You got it.
Let me. I'm trying to find the various stories on our Twitter about I think I had a couple up here from the director.
The 60-minute one?
The 60-minute one where the woman of Kimberly Cheadle, who is the
head of the
head of the Secret Service.
Her interview, is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, her interview. I think this is it right here. Stand by. Hold on. I've got so many new things that are coming down, including might have. Excuse me. Hold on.
No.
Excuse me. There was a guy named.
To expand hiring.
There was a guy named Rico. This guy right here. Oh, no. This guy right here. The Donald Trump rally in Butler. Rico was there as a scheduled speaker right before Trump. As the shots rang out, the unknown innocent victim was shot. Rico jumped to the barricade and helped render aid to the victim who ultimately died of their injuries. So this would be the firefighter. The red stains on his shirt are from the blood of the victim. Some people run from danger, and some people run towards it. Rico is that guy who runs towards it.
Which I love.
It's good guys like Rico that always keep my faith in humanity. Supposedly, a friend of mine knows this person, Jessica Lynn White, who knows Rico, and I'm trying to get Rico on the air.
That'd be great.
There also was an emergency room doctor that was trying to help the guy.
I saw his interview. He was covered in blood afterwards.
When he said brain matter.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
Oh, I know. And then he said they just put a towel over him because he knew he was deceased.
That guy was very shook.
So I'm actually, Lummy, 50-50. By the way, John Kostika, $50 on the PayPal, said, great show today. Thank you so much, Johnny K. Lummy, I think we got a 50-50 chance to get a hold of this Rico guy, which that's pretty cool. That's a guy that was there and actually held and tried to help the firefighter who lost his life. And that would be a nice guy. That would be a great source to talk to get his perspective on how it went down from a guy that was sitting, right behind Trump.
I sent you also the emergency room doctor if you wanted to short.
This is the emergency.
You highlighted his interview.
Did you send it to me, Lummy?
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to find it now. Oh, damn it! Stuff that you. All right, here we go. Let me.
All right, by the way, have we figured out if the photographers are the real heroes or if they should have, been ducking for cover? Because since they brought us such monumental work.
I think all journalists that were able to give us information about this in any way, shape, or form, from the person that shot this to the person that got to the people that were shooting the guy as he was positioning himself on the roof, that in today's day and age of having a camera phone and being able to doc what you see, it should make things like this easier to investigate because you have that much more data. And recorded evidence is far better than eyewitness accounts. Because, if they were to interview those people, like, what'd you say? Well, I saw him crawling around. Yeah, but if you got a video of it, which now everybody, right. I would say 95% of America has a phone that's capable of recording something, right? Yeah. Taking a picture.
People that are out there, people there, yes.
Yes. So, Dan, Lummy, this is the doctor.
Yes.
Hunter, that's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him.
Daniel Werfel, Lummy, 25 on the PayPal. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App at the Bubba Army. Not probably the right term.
Dan,
to be begging for money.
Dan, the emergency room docs see like the worst of the worst, right?
Oh, this guy.
Oh yeah, we covered the emergency room at Charity, which was a trauma hospital, and I saw all this stuff. I saw guys that got shot in the head and shot in the face and shot in the chest and shot 17 times
in New Orleans.
And took care of them on a regular basis.
The amount that happens in New Orleans compared to South Tampa is
411 murders the last year I was in New Orleans.
And how many murders will Tampa have in a year? Like 35?
35, 40.
Right.
And so really only 1 in 5 die from a gunshot usually. And so we're talking 1,500 to 2,000 gunshot injuries in New Orleans the last year I was there.
People there are really helpful. I got
Was there
him
only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One
He's got blood all over his face.
I was the only one
You
that did
guys,
it.
we need to evacuate everybody.
Hunter, that's
So
exactly.
hold on. Now you're some dumb cop. I hold on. I'd be like, bitch, I'm going to evacuate when I want to because you know what I did? I just held the dead man that's now being picked up in a helicopter. I did full-blown CPR and breath
Mouth to mouth.
So you know what? I'll get to my goddamn F-150 when I want to. Because I didn't. You know what? Because it's you and your people that caused this whole problem.
Is there anything you can do, Dan, once there's brain matter?
No.
Yes. Well, a lot of gunshots to the head will decompress. One of the problems with a head injury is if you don't get decompression, you herniate your brain, which is why like a subdural brain bleed from a closed head injury, from like a football injury, can kill you. When you actually have a hole in your skull, it decompresses. So I've seen a lot of people survive a head injury. You just don't speak the same.
Oh, man. So, any type of bullet or projectile to the head, does it also determine what part of the head it hits? Or
absolutely,
if it
bro.
goes
But
in,
some parts are more precious than the other. Yes.
Right.
Like I saw a guy I saw a guy that got shot in the eye once and lived, and I've seen a guy that get shot in the back of the head once and die. It really is it's so lucky. It's you're either lucky or you're unlucky, and so a headshot is not usually the best shot because people don't necessarily die from a headshot.
And think about this. Now, I think they did say that Trump was wearing body armor.
Of course he was.
Kevlar,
he has to.
Kevlar, not the chest plate, but the Kevlar.
Right, the soft stuff.
So if the guy had, let's say he didn't get greedy, he wasn't trying to get the headshot, but he was trying to get through the arm, he could have very well, he grazed the head by a half inch. He missed by a half inch on the head. I don't know if he would have missed a torso shot.
Well, exactly. He would have hit someplace in the torso. And, two things about Kevlar. There's holes. There's where your arm comes out. So the Kevlar doesn't give you 360-degree protection.
No.
Plus, Kevlar usually is only effective against handguns.
Right.
Very
Usually,
often that won't protect you
That's
against...
why like a FNN 57 or something like that.
Or 223 or 308 will go through some of those
Yes,
things.
absolutely.
They're not designed for that kind of defense.
Continuing these Seth Kushner-sponsored telephone phone calls. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, fellas?
Good, buddy.
One thing I was thinking about now, like a couple of weeks ago, Trump said he was going to release the Epstein and JFK files if he got elected. I don't know if that had anything to do with it.
There's a lot of stuff that's lining up. There's a lot of coincidental.
Well, if you look into those files, though, you'll see that maybe Israel's not our friend. Jack Ruby's real name was Rubenstein, and if you look at the Epstein and the JFK files, Israel looks real dirty, and that's all I got to say.
You get out of here with that, okay?
Sir, I don't know
How
any of that.
dare you? We're not talking about that.
Yeah, you know what? You must listen, sir.
We're busy looking for Hamas.
Bubba, did you hear Andrew Tate's take on this?
No.
He goes, first they try to cancel you.
No, I did.
Then they try to throw you in jail, and if that doesn't work, they kill you.
Kind of like me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
They tried.
Less them trying to kill me.
That's the last option.
They've canceled me. They've put me on trial, and they've canceled me.
Yep. Multiple times.
You know what I should do? We should do some artwork where it's me standing there with my head
all bloodied up,
and then the city of Tampa flag behind me instead of the United States flag, called Bubba Trump. Because less the assassination attempt, I've been through the same ringer there, Donald. Hello.
Hey, what's up, Bubba? It's Brandon the Quad.
Hey, Brandon the Quad. How you doing?
Pretty good. I just wanted to say I got my ring and I love it. And thank you very much.
Say, you know what? Oddly enough, they messed up on. They forgot one ring last year for the BART party, and it was BTQs. It was Brandon the Quads. So we got it made and got it to him. Sorry it took so long, my friend.
That's all right. And isn't it interesting that the guy that tried to assassinate Trump didn't even get to vote?
Oh, yeah, because he was 20, so he never got to...
Yeah.
He was 16 last time they had it.
Oh, now you get a vote?
Well, not anymore.
Yeah, he still may vote. Who knows?
Who
might? Well, the guy that assassinated Trump didn't even get to vote.
Are you still whacking off to Caitlin Clark?
Man, it's tough to get through it. I think he whacks off to Caitlin Hatley.
Either one.
Yeah,
all right, Brandon the Quad.
You over this, Bubba?
Yeah, I'm way over phone calls. Phew.
Hey, Bubba.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, Bubba. Good morning, buddy. Down in Colorado, New York. Listen, I have a video that I posted that puts a lot of things into perspective. I don't know if you've seen it. The guy actually climbing up the building and belly crawling on top of the roof.
I need, if you can give me
the one that we showed like
2 or 3 different videos of that already,
like 5-10 minutes ago. Because I keep getting people texting the video that we already showed.
Yeah, I think it's
he's belly crawling on the roof.
Yeah, he's bear crawling on the roof. Yeah,
the guy was. He was belly crawling. He kept getting up and down a little bit, and people are yelling to the cops like he's on the roof. He's on the roof. They could physically see him moving around just like seconds before he fired.
Did you just fire the show up a few minutes ago, buddy? Because we talked about that last hour, my friend.
I paused it, I had to do some stuff for work, and I just got back to it. So
No
I
excuses.
figured there was a delay. I wasn't sure if you've seen it or not, but like it's really not out there. I haven't seen it anywhere.
I've seen it,
and
yeah.
I posted it to my YouTube this morning. So I mean, if you're already seeing it, you've seen it. I figured I'd share that with you guys.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. Bubba Army all the way. Sending all kinds of money.
You can watch us on YouTube and rewind the show. It's crazy.
I just put my phone lines on hold. Let me.
Well, perfect.
Like, I mean, let's say the average radio guy, he needs that guy's call. I need that guy's that guy's disrupting me.
Can we save him for the after show?
No. Lummy, this guy breaks it down pretty efficiently. And this guy comes with a very, very, very respectful resume. And listen, anybody can get in front of TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or or a short or a reel or anything for that matter and get what their beliefs on this. Alex Jones has been all over it. Tucker's been all over it. I've been all over it. Everybody that's a content creator has tried to disseminate as much information as they can find about this Trump assassination attempt. And some of us, some of us have more credible evidence or more credible sources than others. I have a pretty credible source in that I have an Secret Service agent that had, 15 or to 20 plus years of experience that knows guys that, are still in the Secret Service, and I'm getting my intel from that. The one thing that I am very proud of, Lummy, that I think we disseminated, and I don't know that anybody else has, I've not seen it anywhere else, and I know that Gary Cantrell's making a short about it right now to blast it all over the world, but I don't know that I've seen any media source report that the sniper team that killed the bad guy was not the guy behind Trump. The sniper team that was shown on camera was not the team that killed the bad guy. And it does make sense now because when you look at that footage, it looks like the guy's kind of eyeing him up. Then he kind of steps back a little bit. As the shots are being fired, and then he gets back on his scope, but he doesn't, because, I mean, that...
Can we see that video again, Bo, now that we've been talking about him not being the actual shooter? This whole time, I'm trying to, in my mind, have him be the shooter as I'm watching that video, and I haven't seen that video yet with the concept of him not being the guy that took the shot.
Yeah, let me, I can find it.
Bubba, it said I was just looking at your Twitter, it said that the Morning Joe was pulled amid this Donald Trump assassination attempt.
What does that mean?
I sent you the video, Bubba.
Joe Scarborough?
That's what it said in the corner. I'm gonna look it up.
They were pulled because of their opinions about this?
I don't know. I'm looking it up. I just saw it in the corner.
All right, here we go. Dan, are you paying attention?
Yes,
all right,
attention.
Hold on here. Let me get this all the way up full screen, Willie.
They're not gonna air it. They're airing breaking news.
Okay, hold on. Now hold on. The word happen is the last word that Donald gets in before he's hit. Watch.
That's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Boom. Now, if you look, you hear the shot, and you see Trump. But if you watch the sniper and listen for the first round, he doesn't immediately fire. I don't think he fires at all. Watch.
What happened?
Okay, now.
So he moved. The barrel of the gun moved up.
Okay, so
see the barrel of the gun kick up like it was fired almost.
Take a look at what happened.
No, but
or is that just him going back down into the scope?
Because you can't re-scope a guy that fast. Watch.
I understand that.
Take a look at what happened.
See, so you don't look up before you fire.
No.
You look up, then before you fire, your eye's in that sight.
Right. And you're breathing calmly.
So watch.
Take a look at what happened.
See now. I don't think this guy. I think this guy.
He floundered.
He only sights up what the other sniper teams are doing. He does not get a round off. This guy here. Watch. It goes right along the lines of what we've been saying. The second sniper crew that nobody knows where we can't see. Watch.
Take a look at what happened.
See, there's no way you could be accurate. Dan, if you look up right before you fire.
Right, I agree.
Watch.
What happened?
And then when he looks up,
the barrel
moves 3 inches.
significantly.
Take a look at what happened.
Oh, pardon us.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
See, it's like he saw it. He looked up to try to see if is this really happening, then got back on the scope. And by the time he got back on the scope, the first shot had been fired.
Yes.
He missed his opportunity. His opportunity to hit the guy was...
Take a look at what happened.
Hold on. His opportunity to hit the guy was right here. Damn you, mouse.
What about the guy with him?
Really see something.
Right here, Dan. Right now, he's got the bad guy sighted.
Yes.
And if he was going to take a shot, and so does the other guy, they both got him right here.
Right.
This is where if you were going to smoke the guy, you would have smoked him right here.
Yes.
They're both dialed in.
They're both on
the scope, ready to go.
Right.
Watch.
That said, take a look at what happened.
See, then he looks up almost as because the guy made a change of direction or started to fire, and he now he's behind the 8 ball. He can't catch up now.
Right.
And by the time he can catch up,
and the other guy's looking down, retreating. He's looking down.
But before the guy can catch up, the other sniper team now has hit him.
And the other sniper to the right of him looks like he's looking down and retreating, like taking cover.
Let me do some words. I got this guy here that's very accomplished. I'm trying to get a hold of this Rico dude who was actually, had the fireman in his arms. And there's pictures of this guy at the event with blood all over his shirt. His name's Rico.
He was there with his two daughters?
I think so.
Or one daughter? I can't.
So I know somebody that knows him that's trying to contact him to see if I can get him to come on the show. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These 9 people, these 9 U.S. congressmen and women sponsoring HR 8081, a bill aimed at stripping Donald Trump of the Secret Service protection, and there's 9 of them, and all but 1 are black.
Is that a cowboy hat? Is that a woman underneath that cowboy hat?
Yeah. Black man, light-skinned African-American woman, African-American woman, African-American woman, African-American woman, light-skinned African-American woman, white dude. And do you think that they should be in trouble for even suggesting such a thing? I mean,
seems kind of petty. I'd love to hear the reasons for why they
blame January 6th. But you know what? July 13th is bigger than January 6th now.
Oh, I mean,
it just eclipses it.
January 6th looks like a popsicle party.
Yeah.
So, let me here is the article that I was looking at from the person that should turn their resignation in today so that they don't look foolish, because one of the first things that Joe Biden has to do is to fire the head of the CIA. I mean, the Secret Service. He has to, in order just to cover his ass, has to fire the director of the Secret Service. Would you not agree?
Yes.
You got to. That's the first person that goes down with this.
Yeah, but would you fire her, or would you give her an opportunity to resign? Would you call her up and say, I want your resignation paper on my desk by the end of business? Or would you, fire her?
You force her to resign.
Yeah, I mean, either or. She's gone today. Gone. Here's a CBS News article that was written about this woman. She was formerly a 27-year Secret Service vet that was assigned to the Joe Biden vice presidential Secret Service task, and then she quit once Trump got elected and went to go work for Pepsi. And then Biden became the president again and hired her away from Pepsi, not just to be an agent, not just to be but to be in charge. And this woman is trying to toe the Joe Biden DEI, this type of deal. And here's an article that validates it. This validates it.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carey to train with agents.
Why? Why?
So they could promote the Secret Service and
right.
I'm very
Get popular on
yeah.
social media.
This is her right here. She looks like Karen. Looks like the woman that gave the poor guy the hobbler, the dirty birdie.
What?
Catherine Bates.
Kathy Bates.
Oh my God.
She looks like she's ready to give you the dirty birdie.
Is that in Psycho or is this another movie?
I forget what it's called.
As I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce.
Why should everybody have an opportunity to work for the Secret Service? Arguably one of the most important agencies that we have under our government umbrella. Why should everybody have the right? You know what? The Secret Service should be for former U.S. Navy SEALs and Army Rangers. And I personally know of a guy that had 20 years on at a local sheriff's municipality and was still fairly young, was like 41 years old. And he applied and he made the rank of captain. And then a new sheriff came in. And at that point, a lot of times the captains and stuff like that.
Yeah, the higher level guys quit.
They go because the new sheriff brings his captains in.
Right.
And so my guy got this guy's from the Midwest, got looped into that. He had enough years in so that he's going to get a great pension when that time comes. But he's got another 10 to 12 years of working. You know, he can work.
He's able-bodied.
Able-bodied. So he applied with the Secret Service. Now, here's a law enforcement guy that's got 20 plus years in on his agency and obtained the rank of major.
Right.
Or captain, like super
high level.
Yes. High level, highly capable. This guy's probably 6'3", 225.
Right. Big, smart, experienced, effective.
Former D1 linebacker.
Right. So an athlete. So that's who I want protecting me. I don't want a short, fat chick protecting me. And I'm not being misogynist, guys. Sorry, it's not the same. Boys and girls are a little different, especially when you compare a 6'4" Division I linebacker versus a 5'4" fat chick. Sorry, they're two different entities.
He tried out. He applied for the Secret Service and got to the highest level right before they send you to the academy, and he got cut. And the guy that cut him was like, listen, I have a DEI program, and I have to hire 3 women to I can't hire you.
Would you let Brittany Griner protect you?
Hell yeah.
I mean, she's more capable than what I saw.
She's tall enough.
I didn't know this. I didn't know that Brittany Griner had a double mastectomy so that she looked more like a boy.
Oh, did she?
Just
Yes.
got her up, yeah.
Oh, okay. Or her back is jacked, man.
Well, she didn't have any boobs.
And giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce.
Why? Why do we need to give everybody an opportunity to work for where the biggest studs in the world, men and women? There are some capable women. Yes, there are, but not the one that I saw this weekend that was holding her gun wrong in the ready position.
And particularly women.
We all struggle with the holster, Bubba.
What?
We all struggle with the holster from time to
Pivotal
time.
for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular...
You've also said no on 4 different instances in the last 5 to 6 weeks where Donald Trump has asked for beefed up Secret Service. You've said no. You have said no. You need to answer the questions, all the questions that lurk on the handling of this event is on, at the end of the day, your watch. It's all on your watch. It's your event. It's your agency protecting the former president. That's the bare bones of it. It's on your watch.
Yep. And can I please take that mole off the side of her nose? Please?
No.
It's driving me crazy.
Day was going to
That
go.
might actually make her more attractive. I want her to be a disgusting pig.
She needs some hair growing out.
Did you skin tags, Dan? Because I got one that's right.
But that's right in the crease, man. That's an easy one to get.
But we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
Listen, bad news and good news. Bad news is you're getting fired. Good news is there's a doctor in Tampa that wants to take that nose skin tab away for free.
Service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. I don't know.
I think that's where they practice.
Field of Dream.
Okay,
I don't know.
This is what was protecting Donald Trump as they were pushing him into the presidential car. This woman comes out, and again, look. I mean, do you want? I don't think she can protect the Little League team.
I mean, is it just her? Is it just her? I mean, was it just her struggling?
It's everything. It's everything. She's got a big fupa. She's fat. She's got a big
matter, man.
She's got a fupa. She's fat. She's not even holding her gun in a proper ready position. At that point, she would. Do
you think she's too? Do you think she's shook? Like, do you think she's? Yeah.
She doesn't know what to do. She doesn't know what to do.
She is beyond her means.
Right. She's beyond her pay grade.
Mm-hmm.
This guy right here is, I'm not going to interrupt him too many times. He has his kind of his little spin on things, and he comes highly decorated. I want you guys to listen to this guy.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm here to tell you why the shooting of President Donald Trump yesterday, without a doubt in my mind, was a planned and coordinated attack on the president inside our government, our local agency, or police force. Here's why.
Okay, now that's what I've been saying, right? That's what I've been saying. Let me further intel is that the sniper, nobody up until I said it from my former Secret Service guy, the sniper team that killed the bad guy wasn't the sniper team behind Donald Trump.
You're talking about the counter assault team, the CAT team.
Yes. It's all been kind of reported to us that those two guys behind Trump were the ones that took him out.
That's what we're led to believe.
Nobody has said anything different other than me.
Nope.
My name is Matthew Murphy, and I am a retired Green Beret, retired from the Special Forces Group, but I'm also a level 1 sniper, which means that I have graduated the highest level of training for snipers that you can do in special operations.
So, I mean, this guy's got some pretty good,
chops.
This is some pretty damn good standing.
Right.
We're trained, I'm going to avoid confidential or classified terminology. We're trained in assassinations and counter-assassinations for the very reason, case in point, yesterday, the shooting of President Donald Trump. So, first of all, anywhere the president's going to go, there are teams from the Secret Service that go out days, if not weeks, if not months, before the president will ever be at that spot. And they do a site security assessment. And they do that with the local police forces and agencies to ensure that every potential security threat or vulnerability is secured and, of course, protected against. Now, this is done way before Donald Trump will ever get there, and they know every place that the president will be, and the sniper team especially is responsible for ensuring that no one can take a shot at the president.
I'm telling you right now, man, when George W. Bush used to come into Tampa and I lived in Tierra Verde, he always would stay at the Don Cesar. And sometimes Tyler and I would ride our mopeds up to the corner store there, Lummy, and watch the presidential, parade go by.
Yeah, motorcade.
And they have like ambulances and wreckers and motorcycle cops and regular cops, and then 4 or 5 armored SUVs, and then like some more wreckers and some more ambulances, and then 4 or 5. Like, you don't really know which one the president's in, because they got about 10 of the same type of vehicles that he's in. They got 10 of them. So they automatically do that. Now, I never knew this, but did you know, Lummy, when you go through Bayway down to the Don Cesar, there's about 5 bridges you have to cross.
Little ones.
Yeah.
Little bridges. Like little bridges. Ones that jet skis. Do you know that they have Florida Fish and Wildlife there under every bridge, so that nobody can put an explosive on the bridge?
Did you know from underneath it? Yes.
That no boating track. They have a boating track. Like, you couldn't be riding your jet ski out. No, they lock it all down.
Yes, and they should,
including boat travel.
It's a point of vulnerability. Any point of vulnerability, Bubba, is supposed to be covered, just like a roof 100 yards from the stage.
Listen to this. I know from my guy in the Secret Service, they are so meticulous that when the president travels abroad, they bring a United States big-ass plane that has fuel. Like, we just don't get the fuel from the airport that the president pulls in, because
it could be tainted.
It could be tainted,
right,
which would cause the airplane not to go down. So we even have our own fuel source that's protected 24 hours.
Right.
I mean, like,
Makes sense.
Yeah, here we go.
Now, that does not mean that the sniper team just sets up with their guns and scans the crowd and shoots. No, what they do, the most important thing they do, pre-Donald Trump showing up, is within a 360-degree environment of that podium, of the president, they ensure that there is not a place that is open that will be accessible by someone with a rifle to take a shot at the president. So they make sure those places are barricaded off, inaccessible, and heavily guarded, so there is no way you are going to get to the place where you can even shoot the president with a rifle before the president shows up. Then they scan the crowd.
And if you think about it, we've not had a elevated rooftop shooting since JFK. We've not. Bobby Kennedy was killed in the kitchen of a hotel. Ronald Reagan was shot at
on the street,
on the sidewalk. Now there was an attempt on Gerald Ford, but I think the gun jammed or something. But there wasn't an assassination tip on Ford. And then George W. Bush got 2 shoes thrown at him over in Iran. Remember
Iraq. He ducked them.
So I think those have been our assassination attempts, I think.
And those places of the rifle, just in case by some miracle you do. Now, you're not going to tell me, I don't care who you are, don't listen to the media.
No, listen to the Bubba the Love Sponge show, because we're dancing with you, my friend.
Nonsense anyways. I think most of us know that by now. That some 20-year-old kid that looks like he played Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement is trained on a gun, especially a sniper rifle like that, is a registered Republican, and then can access anywhere near the vicinity of that crowd, of that event, with him not dressed in a uniform and that sniper rifle. He was wearing American flag t-shirt and pants, and he had a rifle. You're going to tell me that kid went through all this levels of security, somehow got into the closest building to the president, then accessed the rooftop of the closest building to the president, then had the time to unpack his rifle, lay down in the prone, and then take 5 to 8 well-aimed shots at the president before he was decisively engaged by the Secret Service's counter sniper teams or a local police department. I don't know who they were. Most likely police. You're going to tell me all that happened and a 20-year-old kid did that without it being heavily planned, coordinated, and people on the inside making it happen?
I mean, there's a lot of coincidences that he slipped through that people are shaking their heads saying there's no way a person could slip through those cracks.
There's absolutely no way possible that kid was able to get up there and take those shots at the president without a lot of internal help. So someone in that local, or some people inside that local police department, agencies, or Secret Service is compromised and is a threat to our president. So we need to stop worrying about that damn shooter and start worrying about who allowed this shit to happen.
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's kind of right in the fact that, like, okay, let's stop worrying about the guy that's dead. And let's start worrying about who's the double traitor that that allowed this to happen, and maybe it'll go as high as the director. I mean, this could be a real crap show, could it not?
Oh yeah.
If the right information is disseminated and not destroyed, or the radio traffic of this event, or anything, or memos, or whatever.
And
I did read Candace Owens' tweet last night. She's like, no, so I'm sorry. Saturday, like at 8:16, right after the president had come on, they still weren't releasing the name of the guy, that did it. And I don't know they did that. I don't know that they released the guy's name until maybe Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think it was overnight, on Sunday.
And Candace Owens was saying it's because they're cleaning this guy's social media, completely wiping everything you could find out about this guy that that could potentially hurt them. And yeah, you let the graduation picture go through, and yeah, you let the report from the retirement community that he works for goes through. But have anybody seen any social media from this guy? Nobody has seen. You're not going to say that this guy didn't have, Twitter. This guy didn't have Instagram. This guy didn't have Snapchat. This guy didn't have, YouTube. This guy didn't have Facebook. This guy didn't have X or Kick or Twitch or Twitter. This guy, I mean, right? He was wearing a well-known gamer's shirt.
Gun guy. It was a gun guy.
Right. So, like, you're going to say this guy had we've not been shown any social media from this nut job. We've just been given his name, his age, and where he worked. And a couple people saying that he was a little bit of a loner and he got bullied in school. That's all we know.
And Trump, if you need an American to protect you who's actually good at sniping and stopping this crap, give me a call. I'll do it for free.
That, my buddy Jim Tapp. Remember my boy Jim Tapp?
Yeah.
He was a level 1 trained sniper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I sent you another video of that Secret Service.
I'm sorry, what's that? Let me. You're a little bit heavy on the tongue today.
When I had a brain fart. Secret Service lady, the one, just like how Dan says how short she is, her running up beside everyone.
Right here?
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. Actually, she's so stupid that when she pulled her gun, she pulled the holster as well.
Oh.
And so she has both the holster and the gun in her hand right now. Look, check this out. I'm probably the only one that notices it. That's the entire holster and everything. That's why. I mean, how's that DEI program working out for you, Joe Biden? I think you can have DEI in some government agencies, and I think that the Secret Service might be one that you don't consider DEI at all.
Yeah,
you let that guy that's been in the local sheriff municipality for 20 years and obtained the rank of captain, who wants to come and work for the Secret Service. That's the guy I want. I want that guy all day.
I think it was a Tim Robbins movie, Arlington Road, I think it was, where they kind of like had this same kind of thing where they made this guy look so guilty, even though he had nothing to do with.
Yeah, Arlington Road, it was it. Yep.
Was it?
Yeah.
And so they set up this they make a person that just becomes the perfect pansy, just like Booth, just like Hinckley, just like Crook. It's so frightening how they are able to manipulate the message, and it's already happening. We're falling for it right now. They don't have all the information on the guy, but they're certain he's a lone wolf. That is intellectually impossible to say.
And they are going to disseminate exactly what they want us to know.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to give us this guy. Like, if this guy had a Facebook, or this guy had a YouTube, or this guy had a Twitch channel, or this guy was a gamer and had said various things, I don't know that we'll ever find it. They could be scrubbing this as we speak. Weren't they trying to get into his phone, Lummy?
Yeah, they can't get in.
They had to take it to Quantico. Now, I wonder if Apple, Rhett, this might be a question for you or Lummy, or any technical question. Does Apple, I think Apple prides itself, no matter on what you've done, they won't give the government your code.
Nope. However, in certain situations, they have offered to open the phone without sharing the way that they've opened it. And so
the Apple people could come in and say, we will open the phone.
And here it is.
But we're not going to show you how we do it.
Exactly.
I mean, I think.
I guess they also have the legacy feature now where you can have relatives who know your password get into your phone after you die.
If I die, if I die, I got strict instructions. Take my phone.
Destroy it.
Smash it.
Yeah.
Smash it.
Throw it off the Skyway.
And throw it off. And let me smash it. And throw it off this, by Steve's dock or something.
Got it. We'll do.
Steve's dock's like 6 inches of water.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me.
Next hurricane comes in, it'll dry out.
Go over to Jay's house.
Yes.
First of all, take a hammer and smash my phone, okay?
Okay.
Then I want you to light it on fire,
right.
okay? Then I want you to put whatever's remnants left, put it in a bag.
Salt water.
Okay?
Yes.
A bag that has holes in it, like a diving bag.
So it can sink.
That has weights on it.
Yep.
Then I want you to go to Jay's house and take Dan already gave us approval to use his jet ski and take it out about 3 miles into the ocean.
Okay.
And make sure that it gets properly drowned.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yes.
So
gotcha.
Might have I might need a lot of things. You might have to take a couple trips. There's a lot of things I might need to be merch crate. Yeah, I mean, merch crate will help you. Merch crate will help you. She'll be like, "Oh, Bubba wanted this and this and this drowned. I'd like to keep this picture of Chinworth Bridge in Indiana, though."
She helps Lummy destroy everything, and then Lummy has to destroy her.
Yeah, then Lummy, listen, on the last trip, Lummy.
She knows it all.
Drowned her.
Just leave her out there?
Yeah, drowned her.
Got it.
Don't shoot the poor little thing.
I'll
want to
hit her over the head with like a paddle.
You want her to struggle, Bubba?
No, I don't want her to struggle.
But I mean, what is? You said don't shoot her, and he's going to drown her.
Well, don't shoot her. I mean, I don't want her
fighting for air, gasping.
I want her to be pretty still. Poor little thing.
You're
getting
dead.
shot.
Shoot her in the chest. Between the breasts, not in the breast. Between the breasts.
Yeah, hold on, you're going to have a 30-06 to go. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's got built-in Kevlar with those jugs.
Yeah, you got to go underneath or between.
Yeah. You do a boob shot on her, man. She may leak a little silicone, but she's fine.
I think Lummy is saying to himself that his arrangement with you ends once you die, Bubba.
No, it doesn't, Lummy. You'll be Bill.
It goes forever.
I want you to set up a shrine and pray to me every night too, Lummy.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right.
Yes.
Did you guys see where I got to go to words where Shannon Doherty from 901210 or something like that?
She's kind of a snaggletooth, but she was cool.
I mean, she was hot back in the day.
Yeah, she always had that snaggle. One tooth.
She had a snag.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, man. She had cancer.
What'd she
forever.
die of?
Is that like breast cancer?
And she, I think since 2015, maybe.
Wow. 9 years.
She had breast cancer.
Yeah, she just kept coming back, and she just.
So, Dan, if you do a double mastectomy, that's not guaranteed to get it all?
No, because it's systemic disease sometimes, and once it's metastasized, it can keep rearing its ugly head. And some breast cancers are very, very, very aggressive, even if you catch it. So, it's a very. We don't talk about breast cancer enough anymore because everyone thinks it's just, it's so curable. But women are catching it at a younger age, and we're screening them at an older age, which makes no sense. Young women should get mammograms probably now at 40 or younger, and do self-breast exams because no one knows a person's breast better than that person. And you should once a month, at the same time of the month, you should do a self-exam if you're a woman and feel for any kind of masses, feel for any kind of changes, and anything seems suspect, see your doctor and get a mammogram.
Any little nod or nodule.
Anything that changes, any change at all. And men, feel your testicles because if there is a bump, there's something that's different. You should know what your testicles feel
your
like.
balls, buddy.
Oh, I do because once this so descended, then I have to just prop it up sometimes.
One gets descended. One doesn't want to. One wants to leave the party.
One's descended, yeah.
And then you have to bring it right back to the party, or
but it likes to kind of just hang in that area.
Richard Simmons died over the weekend, and so did the girl Shannon Doherty.
There's a third one that died. I think it's not as famous.
Yeah,
some other third person.
The kid on top of the Stephen King or whatever his name was. What was the guy's name that died?
Crooks.
Stephen Crooks. Or Thomas Crooks.
Thomas Crooks. What was other names? There were some other names that were released that first night that were way off. There's two other names released. One started with a violet, and there was another one that was.
I gotta go through our X page.
Bongino.
Our Twitter. I gotta play Dan Bongino.
He was good.
Which he has the same stance as my Secret Service director.
Yep.
They probably worked with each other.
You know what? I guarantee my guy knows Bongino.
Okay.
And.
But
even Bonagino, hold on. Not even Bonagino was saying that the sniper team that we saw on TV, that's not the sniper team that took him out. Nobody has said that but us.
Yep, you're the only ones.
We'll get to that next. And I think that we've gotten some very valuable insight, and that I have a former Secret Service agent of 20-plus years that just recently retired. I'm not going to give you much more details than that. But getting intel from him, and we're the first ones and only ones to have reported that the sniper team that killed the bad guy wasn't the ones that were pictured above Trump. They were, somebody else. And that's interesting to know. And it just looks like to me, man, I mean, I kind of stand behind. I mean, I know that it's probably not an inside job, where, Biden spoke to the Secret Service director to send down let a bad guy jump on top of a roof and take a few shots at Trump, and then let's be late to get to him, and hopefully he can whiz off 4 or 5 and hit the bastard. Maybe it's not as corrupt as that, but there's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge of how the Secret Service run. including Dan Bonagino, who is a very well-respected conservative talk show host, highly syndicated, highly viewed, highly digitized. And I think a 13 or 15-year former Secret Service guy.
Yeah, I think about that.
So, I mean, this guy, from the Green Beret guy that was a sniper to Dan Bonagino, who was a former Secret Service agent, who, just like my Secret Service agent, is speaking to people that were there, giving intel. Here's Dan Bonagino on Fox claiming this isn't probably an inside job, but this is a dereliction of duty by all means. They're overstretched. They're undermanned. Their requests have gone. The Trump security detail has asked for beefed up and additional, bodies, and they're giving them fat bitches with that can't even holster their guns. That's what they're getting. And when you do that, stuff like this happens. You got a veteran like Dan Bonagino out there. He's knowing that we got to look at that flat white roof that's a football field and a half away, that's that's more highly elevated than where the president's going to speak. Nothing is more as a person that's speaking, getting ready to get assassinated. Nothing puts your person that's trying to shoot you at a better advantage than him being the shooter being higher than you. And I'm not talking about smoke more weed. I'm talking about elevation. When the shooter has a elevation advantage, it's that much easier for him or her to hit the target. And it's harder for the people that are defending the president to defend a person that's positioned at a higher elevation. Here's Dan Bonagino on Fox. Dan Bonagino, former Secret Service, current badass on the conservative talk scene.
Continue where you left off on the reaction here.
So, again, open security questions right now. And this is why, again, I think the Secret Service, the PR, Anthony Guglielmi, has to be very careful about what they put out. He says in his X post, and you can read it yourself, you don't need to hear it from me, that they deployed these extra resources and technology. Okay, well, which ones? You're telling me the best technology you have was deployed and you missed a shooter 130 yards? Say it was 200 yards. The Secret Service CS team, Pete, the counter sniper teams, and I'm not sure those two guys are Secret Service. We have to remember that we don't always. Hey, what's up, man? We go to New York sometimes with high. We'll use NYPD ESU counter sniper. So I'm not really sure either way, they'd still be briefed in. The question we have to ask is, if that's the best technology we have, and we had a CS team up there with a shooter that, we're trained out to 1,000 yards in the Secret Service with the counter sniper team. How did they miss someone at most, 1/5 of the way there? It doesn't make any sense. And even worse, it's broad daylight on a white roof. So again, open questions here. Was there forward-looking infrared deployed? Was there aerial support, drones, helicopters? Something happened too. If you go back and listen to the audio, I want you to listen to this after I get off here. When Donald Trump, after this tragic thing happens, you'll see the Secret Service agents. And by the way, I know some of those guys personally. It takes a lot to,
as does my guy,
run into bullets, divorcing the security failure. So at least they did that part, correctly, and they knew what they were doing. After the security absolutely failed. But you're going to hear something if you listen closely. The guy mentions Hawkeye on the scene. He's talking about those two, the black BDU with the tactical gear CAT element, that two-man CAT element. That stands for Counter Assault Team. That's a Secret Service Special Weapons Team, equivalent to our SWAT. So they're there. They all deployed and did what had to be. That the bunting around the front of the stage is probably armor. Donald Trump knew to duck. I mean, most people would. He saved his own life. That's just a fact. The evacuation did not go right. I mean, the rule with the Secret Service is cover the protectee and evacuate. The other rule is maximum to the protectee, minimum to the problem.
See, I learned that. I learned while watching this. I learned that in the fact that maximum to the protectee, minimum to the bad guy, because you don't know if the bad guy is the only bad guy. So if you start sending all resources to the one bad guy, they could have another bad guy planted. I didn't know that.
Why minimum to the problem? Because you don't know that's the only problem. It could be a distraction. There could be another person in the crowd. So if you don't jump on to protect...
This is a guy that's well-trained and knows how to do this job.
Yeah.
I don't know if the bitch with the fupa and doesn't know how to put that actually, when she pulls her gun, pulls her complete holster out. I don't know if she's got the skill set of a Dan Bonagino. I think they need a bunch of Dan Bonaginos rolling around there, and my friend, and not the bitch that used to work at Pepsi as the director. And I bet you that bitch has got a fupa too.
Oh. You could be looking at multiple shooters. So at least that part, the guys there, stepped up there. But the failure here is absolutely catastrophic. And I got to tell you, the Secret Service should be very careful. I could tell you
Kim Cheadle should be resigning at 10 a.m. today.
Yeah. Absolutely confirmed. From the horse's mouth, from multiple people, not just one. And I saw Congressman Waltz text this out before on X. There have been repeated requests to increase the security footprint around not just the residences of Donald Trump, but the body itself. And they have been rebuffed. Like I said, I can tell you actual quotes.
Again, the requests for Donald to have beefier presence, Secret Service presence, has been rebuffed, have been turned down.
Secret Service directors completely failed and candidly should resign today. Kim Cheadle has failed.
This is a guy that spent 13 years as a Secret Service agent. This guy's got standing.
Donald Trump, and honestly failed Joe Biden too. He's the president right now. Where's the deal?
He's right. I mean, when one of Joe Biden's directors that he appointed agency makes this big of a mess up, that's on him. Inevitably, that he's the commander-in-chief. This is on him.
DHS secretary. I mean, this is you're blaming it on manpower? So just to be clear, we're a $4 trillion United States government, and we can't fork over enough money to keep our people alive? And then you're sending out tweets like, oh, this is the best technology we have. Really? To let a sniper 150 yards away from the potential next president shoot a piece of his ear off? Pfft, that's your victory lap? Give me a break, man.
Dan, I mean, you bring up so many amazing points, and I just don't even know where to begin except to ask you, why would the Secret Service not beef up more security for the man who is most likely to be assassinated in the entire world? Why would they not deploy more resources? Why weren't there drones over? Is it that this woman, Kimberly Cheadle, the director, is incompetent?
She just came from Pepsi, yeah.
Could there be something else there? What is happening? Is it
You know what? You know what, Seth? Everybody's asking kind of the same questions, but nobody's getting any answers on this deal.
Well, I mean, nobody can. That's why I asked before. I said everybody's calling, for her resignation, and that they want. I don't know. They're going to summon her to Congress or whatever it is. But that's what I'd like to know. I just don't think that I don't think that the Secret Service is allowed to talk. I feel like that's part of the whole deal.
I know, but when you have such a dereliction of duty and such a breakdown of the system that you have to investigate it in fear that there is a bad guy in the woodpile, you have to ensure that this was just coincidentally a big mess up.
But you think that this was people just turning a blind eye Saturday?
I think it was an inside turn the blind eye.
Wow.
Yeah, I do. I don't know at whose direction. I don't know how far up it went. But I think we need to start asking some questions.
So you're saying that this kid was not on his own?
No, I think this person was helped by our government in some way. And our government, if that's a local police.
You think they were training him?
No, I don't think they were training him. I think they looked the other way enough for that he could get a few shots off, and then they knew they were going to smoke him.
Doesn't it take a lot of training to be able to hit a target from 150 yards away?
I mean, listen, if I could, Dan and I could take you out to the shooting range and in 3 weeks have you as accurate as that kid.
Oh, okay. All right.
For real.
No, it just seems like a long...
If I took you out for 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks, I could have you I could have you hitting golf balls at 150 yards.
Okay.
With an AR-15.
All right, let's start.
What's going on?
Boy, you'd really be a man then, along with changing your own oil
and
doing your tire pressure on your Ford Hemi.
I would love to threaten people to go, I can shoot you from 150 yards away, buddy, so keep on trying
with an AR, bitch.
That's right.
Say it.
I'll blow a cantaloupe off your stupid head.
And I'll change my own oil and airflation my tires.
That's right.
Because I'm about to get mine.
A patch and play.
Well, Rachel, it's my job, if I'm going to give an opinion, to back it up. Opinions are like holes, right? Everybody has.
He said a-holes.
One. The difference.
Now, see, that picture right there. It's almost like an Iwo Jima type picture, is it not?
Yeah, the flag going.
You got 2 agents in the back. You got 1 female agent in the front. You got another male agent in the front.
They're all rethinking why they chose this career.
They're all thinking that, man, this was supposed to not happen this way. The directive that I got was skull shot, schmall schnot, not wing him in the air. The presidential flag, the flag of our country in the background with Trump raising his fist with a shot off ear and like warrior blood down his right cheek. Am I not right?
Well, that's why I'm saying like this. The photographers just I
wonder how much the guy made for this one particular picture, right? Because they pay. They pay. They pay for it.
You think someone paid for this before?
Oh yeah.
This was coming out
one
fast and
opinion
furious,
over
though.
the other in a courtroom and anywhere else. Can you back it up? I want everyone at home, go on your phone or computer now, and I want you to look up U.S. Secret Service red ties Donald Trump. Yeah, read it. The Secret Service was more concerned about protective agents around Donald Trump. If you think I'm making this up, go to a left-wing search engine if you think I'm biased.
This is. Do you guys remember last week, Seth, when I talked about? Was it Theodore Roosevelt?
Yeah,
and he went to, by the way, Milwaukee, which is where the RNC is going to be this week, and did a speech as he was running for president the second time. This is very Theodore Roosevelt. Did a speech. Some guy shot him at close range, but his speech being folded up in his left pocket of his dress shirt. It was such, Lummy, you had to write your speech out with pencil or lead or something like that.
Yeah,
it was so thick that the bullet could barely get through the paper and kind of just went into his chest a little bit. It caused him to bleed. He went on to deliver his speech and then went to the doctor later on. Has a lot of Trump characteristics, does it not? Including Trump will be in Milwaukee today. I think he's there now.
I think he got there yesterday.
Yeah, I think he got there. I think he got there yesterday.
Go to Scroogle and put it. Oh, you're reading a story right now.
Dan Bonagino is saying that the Secret Service was more worried about the color of red ties or the ties that they wore, the color that they wore while protecting the former president, more so than protecting the former president.
I'm more concerned about the color of the Secret Service agents' ties around Donald Trump, given the perception that a red tie was somehow. I've got red ties. I'm a Republican. It has nothing to do with it. I just like red ties. They go nice with white shirts.
Is it me, Seth, or does Dan Bonagino look like he can snap at any time?
Oh, they got to get him back in the Secret Service, man.
He does, man.
They better offer him a Patrick Mahomes contract.
They better, because he's ready to snap at any time, just over the tie. He's hot just on the tie deal.
Vegas Bubba Army 25.
That's an
thank you, buddy.
Actual. Oh, you see it right now. I'm not crazy. This is what the Secret Service was concerned about. They put out, 1,000 tweets about.
Lummy Heath on the Cash App 25. Thank you. There's that Frupa. There's that.
Yeah.
Secret Service.
All of this DEI stuff. Do I know that's related here? I don't.
So look at these guys, and I think one woman, completely like they're supposed to. The minute a president is getting shot at, or under threat, or been shot, or you are to immediately jump on top of him and put your body on top of his body, so that you are basically taking, shielding his body from any ammo, and that your body will get riddled before his does. And so it looks like all these agents here are doing that.
And look at the FUPA lady.
And then look at the FUPA lady. It's like, oh, I don't think I want to go up there. I just got 2 cats at home.
Well, just saying, you have one job and only one job.
Protect the body.
Wasn't Trump trying to come out of the dog pile, though? I mean, remember he was...
Well,
he got up pretty quickly.
He was, because he was wanting to, get up.
The body alive.
I mean, think about it. You got 4 guys laying on top of you. Like, get off me, bitch. I just got shot in the ear. I got to get up here and give it a fight gimmick and make the best photo op in the history of the world.
No matter what. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Jill Biden, the president of Djibouti, it doesn't matter. That is your job. They absolutely, resolutely, 100% failed. Not a single excuse should be made. Not a single excuse should be attempted. This should be the subject of congressional hearings and investigations, because if they can't do this, and this is the best technology you had, then, folks, there's no purpose anymore. This isn't the agency I grew up in. It's not. I spent 12 years of my life there.
12.
I'm telling you, I know some of those guys personally. These are good men and women.
But no. But the Kim Cheadle appointed 3.5 years ago by Joe Biden, who wants to diversify the Secret Service and make it more female and more inclusive.
But this
so guys like you, Dan Bonagino, and guys like my friend who's as studly as you are, and guys like my friend who put an application in, are being told no. And the bitch that can't even holster her car, her 9mm or her 40 or her 45, the bitch that can't even holster her weapon is in charge of protecting. Not only, I mean, I'm assuming that President Biden's detail is as crappy as this one. I mean, I'm sure that they've sprinkled a bunch of DEI hires into his too. He's probably, you know what? Our president's probably less safe too with these hires.
This was an apocalyptic security failure, and don't ever forget, an uneventful failure is never a success. And the fact that Donald Trump didn't die yesterday is no reason for anybody to take some kind of victory lap. And before we start sending out plaudits, we better look and do a hot wash on this and find out exactly how abysmal this security plan was.
Well, uniquely, because you also have unique experience, uniquely you've been able to tell us today that the failure is on both the ground level and the immediate reaction, the advanced level, and seeing what could potentially be the problem, and at the organizational level in what kind of resources were given to Donald Trump over time. And as we said, you have...
I mean, listen, I got to go to words, but you know what? Joe Biden should be having a press conference today saying, I've accepted Kim Cheadle's resignation, and I am beefing up Secret Service for former President Trump.
I mean, that'd be a good move.
And I'm giving it to Robert F. Kennedy as well.
That'd be a good move, just in general, as for humanity, but also politically, it would look good if he did that.
It really would.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt. That helps him. Him taking a strong position on this helps him, and it starts with firing that Kim Cheadle bitch that wants to go on 60 Minutes and talk about how I'm embedding female YouTubers into training. Do we really want female YouTubers to know how we train supposedly the most elite protective agency that has the most sacred job of protecting our president, our commander-in-chief? Do you think we want some YouTube bitch on there learning all that stuff? Hell no.
If you liked that segment, then you'll definitely like the new redesigned BubbaArmyHQ.com. We'll be back to the Bubba the Love Sponge show after this.